welcome back everyone, welcome back to another day, the second final day, the second last day of the RSL, the Revival StarCraft League Season 2 playoffs. I'm of course host ZvT, and with me I'm joined by these other amazing casters, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all to the co-stream of the RSL. For those that are curious, for those that are unaware, we have been covering the playoffs of the RSL the entire way through. We did not cover the group stage, but we have been covering the playoffs themselves. Of course, we do have permission to co-stream the event. I believe even Rotterdam is going to be co-streaming from here on forward as well, as there are only 2 days left of the RSL. 2 days remaining. We have 4 players still in the tournament. As you can see here before you, we have Classic waiting in the grand finals, waiting for the winner of Zaun, and then Reynor and Cure. So, oh boy, we still have three more series left to go. Tonight we have 2 series. We have the lower bracket semis and the lower bracket finals, and tomorrow we have the grand finals. So man, back-to-back 2 days of RSL in a row. Hope you've all been enjoying yourselves. Of course, this is our second broadcast of the day. Earlier this morning we were live with the KSL. I do apologize to the KSL stream just because I was just a little bit distracted. It didn't have my entire attention. I even said it at the time. But of course, we're like, what, day 2, day 3? I think day 2, day 3 of free roaming our bunnies. And because of that, I was a little bit distracted, just making sure that everything was okay in regards to the bunnies and the rest of the room, and making sure that they're safe and sound. So at times I was just straight up quickly checking on them before we're going back to the cast. So it was a little bit disrupted, but now we're here and we can focus completely on the series ahead of us, on Reynor versus Cure. Oh boy, here we go. Again, Reynor, of course, is the lone Zerg player of the tournament, so the lone Zerg player remaining. Meanwhile, Cure, likewise, the lone Terran player also remaining in the tournament. So we have 1 Zerg, 1 Terran left, and they're going to be knocking each other out to see who faces off against Zaun. Personally, I would love to see a rematch between Zaun and Reynor. I would love to see that, as they did face off previously in the tournament, and Zaun did shut Reynor down, but he came in very prepared for that series, very prepared for that matchup, and was able to, I would say, out-prepare Reynor in a sense and knock him down, but not out of the tournament, as again, Reynor, I'm sure, is gunning for that rematch. First, though, is going to be facing off against Cure, who has some terrifying TVZ, one of the best TVZs in the world, so no easy opponent before him. And likewise, Reynor's also very stylistic as well, so I'm really looking forward to the series. Reynor, he's not, one to always open up Roach into Ultras, Roach into Lingbane, Roach Ravager into later game states. He's not always one to play safe. He does take risks, he does things his own way, with some mixed results, is what I will say. Sometimes, he's on something, sometimes less so. The Rift probably doesn't help too much either. Reynor. Shaking my head, lost and stuck in the Rift. But hey, look, League of Legends players can also make it top 4 into RSL. True. That's they got it, baby. They got it. But we'll get there. Of course, a shout out to the Patreon of RSL, !RSL in the chat. We get a link to the Patreon. There's also merchandise as well for the event. They've been quite successful in regards to their crowdfunding, and they have confirmed 3 seasons this year of RSL. We are nearing the end of season 2, then we have season 3 thereafter, and then we have the offline playoffs, which will be taking place over in South Korea. So really excited to see that they're going to be booking a venue. There's going to be an offline crowd, an offline event towards the end of 2025. Again, when it comes to the RSL, it still feels like they're still in the teething phase of RSL. There's still a lot of room for improvement, a lot of room for growth, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing that throughout the course of the year. And I'm sure they're going to be taking feedback to heart as well in regards to how they conduct themselves and how the RSL is run, and the overall format and the overall setup here of RSL. And I'm sure they are. For the time being, we are getting ready here for the first series. It is going to be, again, Reynor versus Cure. It's going to be best of 5 lower bracket semifinals. Also, bearing in mind that Zaun series will be right after this one, and that will be a best of 7, not a best of 5. So that's going to be a longer, more intense series on the horizon. Meanwhile, of course, check us out on YouTube, !YouTube in the chat, to help us grow on YouTube, to help the RSL grow on YouTube as well. Again, in general, the viewer base, the potential viewer base on YouTube is huge, is massive compared to Twitch. There's a lot of YouTube content out there. It's all about kind of getting noticed and getting the word out as well. Not just for RSL, for ourselves, for all those involved as well.
can have those people come back onto Twitch. We want the people on Twitch to go onto our YouTube.
As of course, we're also live streaming on Twitch and YouTube and Kick and Facebook and eventually TikTok again. Streams will be coming back on a regular basis. Likewise, they're doing so as well.
StarCraft news sites or don't. I mean, good on them. Don't check social media too much.
Don't read Reddit.
Aren't on Reddit all day. But that means they don't have a way to get this to them. And the YouTube algorithm, it's powerful.
But otherwise, we'll soon be getting ready, and I'm hoping to get an eye on the veto process as well. Meanwhile, they're just going over the formats, going over the rest of the year of 2025 in regards to RSL. Again, really excited to see that we have, you know, more RSL for the rest of the year. I'm hoping that, again, we do see some more growth with the RSL as well in regards to bringing people into the studio, in regards to interviews, in regards to translators, in regards to just making more of the show in general. But overall, it is great to see that they have a roadmap set up for the rest of the year coming into 2026. Of course, when it comes to the offline event, still more news to come. More news and details going to be revealed in October next month. So until then, you just know that it's going to be at some time in December. No confirmed dates, no confirmed venue yet. But again, that's coming soon, TM. Soon, TM. Soon, TM. I'm curious as to where they can set up. I'm curious if they have an idea. If they look to make something a little bit more extravagant or something more standard, right? Are they looking to work together with an existing studio like VSL or like GSL with Afrika TV, or working with Twitch? I was gonna say Twitch Korea. That's something anymore. True. Aye. But working with existing studios or not? Yeah, I'm curious to see how they kind of bring it all together. I'm sure it's not going to be easy. Not going to be easy.
We'll be announcing the dates early enough, and we'll also be announcing ticket sales, I should say, so that if you're able to get a ticket, then good. Buy your flight ticket to Seoul, figure out where you're going to stay, and you can come see our event live. So we're super excited.
We got Vitas. Let's go.
To be doing that for you guys. That's been the whole plan for the whole year.
All right, best of five. Game 1 is going to be on Ultra Love. Game 2, Tiffany. Game 3, Evil Heart. Game 4, Tokamak. Game 5, Maganatha. Bearing in mind that this tournament does feature a custom map pool, it does remove some of the previously older maps and replace them with Evil Heart, with Botanical, and with Cenotaph as well. So 3 maps were replaced. 3 quote-unquote newer maps were added to the map pool instead. So really cool to see them make use of a custom map pool as well. I'm sure there's maybe going to be someone asking about PTR. This is not on the PTR. I don't think we've actually held a tournament on the PTR yet, and we might not even need to, just because I'm sure there are going to be some modders working on creating a mod to actually play the PTR balanced map patch on the regular version of the game. For the time being, this is going to be on the base game state, of course, and game 1 is going to be on Ultra Love. Reynor cheeky smile. Yes, Reynor, he's already smoging, pap. He's already smoging. The hoodie is up. Let's go. We're ready to smoge. Vamonos.
Reynor moves on, Terran's out. So if you're a fan of the race, like, this is how I usually watch StarCraft, because I'm, you know, like a student of Protoss, right? I was always like, especially when I was younger, like, okay, well, I really just want to see the Protosses move on. I want to see what they're going to do.
Right.
And a lot of times I'm just farming strategies from them. But yeah, if you're a student of the game, if you're, let me say, a student of Terran or Zerg, you know who to root for here, because after
well, in the top right-hand corner, we do have Reynor. We have the Italian Zerg player for Basilisk. In the bottom left, we have the South Korean Terran player for Team Liquid. It is Cure. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series between Reynor and Cure. Of course, as a reminder, this is a prediction for the entire series, not just for this initial game. So best of luck with your predictions. As we mentioned with the low ground depot, this is going to be a 2-Rax Reaper. I say 2-Rax Reaper. Technically, Cure can go for a 3rd Rax and double down and be even more aggressive. This is a really good way to open up on Ultra Love. Why is it a good way to open up on Ultra Love? Because Ultra Love is a smaller map. A shorter rush distance by ground. You can be very aggressive, and this initial 2-Rax Reaper is not an all-in. It can lead into a 2-1-1 follow-up with an earlier stim timing. So there are layers to this build, layers to this form of aggression, and we'll see how Reynor responds.
By the way, before this game picks up, it was announced that there's going to be a patch for StarCraft 2.
Indeed.
I was totally caught off guard by that when I saw the news. That's amazing.
Yeah, huge news. Really awesome to see Blizzard.
Oh, sorry, do apologize.
Sorry, I actually called this wrong.
Predictions are back open. I accidentally turned it off.
A Marine open in here.
Very quickly, if you're in the chat, get your Gamba going. I accidentally did cancel it. So redo your Gamba. Redo your Gamba.
You don't know if Terran
don't
has a gas
forget,
right
don't
now, so you
forget.
may
My
really,
apologies.
expect Reapers, but once you see the Marines, of course,
I was trying to lower the
you will
volume.
know, and you just got to try and save this Overlord if you can get to the high ground. But I think
Also, I feel like
looks he
Tasteless
may be
being
going down
surprised
here.
that a
That's
patch
very
was
nice
announced
pickoff.
shows
Hopefully
how
get the minerals,
little he might pay attention to StarCraft. Like, it was known that that the TLMC map was coming in November, and I think a lot of people assumed that a patch would be coming alongside that as well, which is why like there was a lot of discussion as to what the patch should be. But here we go. Oh, actually, sorry, no 2x Reaper. Sorry, going into Marine, hunting Overlords. Okay.
You know, it's
Does
funny,
supply
'cause
block.
I
Nicely done.
Thinking the exact same thing that you were, Sturgeon. When I saw the 2 Raxes in the front, I went, "Oh, it's a Reaper opening." Dude, wait, can he just make a bunker?
He doesn't see it.
Yeah, so my apologies if I missed the lack of gas geyser in the main base. He's going for the bunker, being very cheeky, sneaky up on the third.
He's going to try and get it down as soon as possible and
Let's
just
go.
wail away this hatch. Try to make Zerg make a bunch of lings to kill that bunker. Otherwise, it's a kind of thorn in your side here. He doesn't have vision of it, of course, right now. No Overlord around there.
Okay, so here's a question: do you want to just fill this up immediately?
The bunker?
The bunker, or do you wait for it to finish? I guess you're not guaranteed to kill the hatchery. I'm just trying to figure out what's the best way to do this.
Yeah, I think you want to wait till it finishes and then show the Marines. I even like the SCV attack in here, a little bit more DPS.
Yeah, so from here the goal is to force a cancel on the third base. We do see Reynor pumping out lings. We do have 12 lings in production, but the bunker's already done. Like, this base should go down. There's no saving it.
This is actually so funny because it's like,
Wow.
I mean, I'd be super mad if I was Reynor right now.
Really nice
It's kinda
salvage.
it's like a move that almost doesn't make sense to do because it's not safe, but if they don't see it, it's like, yeah.
So from here, can he make it back home? Can he make
You
it?
don't know it's coming, and you don't have the lings. These Marines, though, will be caught.
Ooh, no
trying to go
stutter
home
stepping.
by the Zerglings.
Yeah,
Reynor
no
has
stutter
just
step.
enough to clear this up. Gonna have a few weakened ones, but not
Nice
really
cleanup
much.
out of Reynor. If those Marines made it back home, that would have been disastrous, by the way. That would have been brutal. Because remember, Cure, he's working on that sim timing. He's going for not a 2-1-1. He's going for a 4-ax follow-up.
I think Cure's going to be aggressive in this game.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is already just
So yeah, it is going to be a 4x follow-up. It's going to be a strong sim timing. Bearing in mind this hits very hard, you can pull the boys with this and commit into a 2-base all-in to try to end the game.
Normally we talk about the 4th hatch.
Because remember, no factory, no starport, no medevacs, no Hellions, no tanks, no further tech from the side of the Terran player. So he does have the option to pull the boys.
In a really important part of the tournament where Reynor is off to
And because Reynor lost his third base already, like he has limited larva, he has limited production, limited resources, everything is stifled for Reynor.
Getting a sneaky bunker up at the third. It's kind of
Cure, he starts the factory. So the factory is a sign that we're taking up. Factory, 2 more gases.
So he's going to have this timing here with the combat shield finishing up. And he's going to try and make Reynor make a ton of lings. Reynor's only on 40 workers right now, not a huge worker count. You don't want to be making these lings, but you have to. The Queens will be the anchor here. The Zergling's going to try and wrap around probably. There's a lot of Marines, though. You got to be very careful here not to trade inefficiently as Reynor. Wow, he's going to just leave. He said, okay, you made all those lings? Perfect. That's what I want.
Yeah, Cure, what's really smart here, he didn't waste a stim, right? Every stim counts, every stim hurts because he has no medevacs. He sees that Reynor did invest into an army, so he just retreats. He just retreats, reinforces, builds up his forces, and gets ready for a secondary push.
So we've got 10 more lings about to hatch. There's eBays that are... I couldn't tell if it
And he's hoping that Reynor droned. And Reynor did, but only by 5.
This is going to be painful here. He's going to knock down
this.
Some of the lings are stuck on the outside and are chased away.
Yeah, actually losing a few lings there, having to run from the rocks. If they land on your lings, they'll die, obviously. So yeah, he does lose a couple there. Cure's actually staying out on the map for a surprise.
Ooh, this is a 540 lair timing, really late lair. First queen goes down, and very nice positioning. Oh, no surround. Yeah, those surround. The Marines, they dominate this area.
Tons of damage here. I think he will clean this.
Yeah, he breaks them. He breaks the lings. He gets on top of the queens.
Lings going down. These Marines actually going to stim again. There's no more drones here to kill.
Hunting more lings.
Just going to try and trade out as effectively as he can, and then bring the drones back here and continue mining.
That was definitely a good trade for Terran. I'm curious if that was... Is that the right move, or should he have waited? I guess to trade out that was... So it's almost 60 lings for 30 Marines?
So the reason why he went then and there is because the hope was that Reynor was droning harder. If you remember, Reynor, he made 5 drones, so he didn't drone up too much. He did drone, which did allow Cure to out-trade Reynor. And again, Reynor, he has to replenish his army. He has to get back into a 4th base. Like, Reynor is still recovering.
The next attack, the Marine tank push. So if he gets that out and he's on creep, I think he can have a good engagement.
So this is a late 3rd CC for Cure, very late. So this is still quite committed. Bearing in mind that Cure, he has to get damage done here because of how late his third base is, and he's building up into a longer mid game. He's not going for an all-in.
Zerglings are doing, clear a bit of creep, deny some vision. It's very nice moves here.
Yeah, so far he's really just clearing the creep paving. That's all through here. He has, I think, just enough Marines that they can't all fit in the medevacs, but, you know, this is a much safer approach here. We've got tanks out. And Terran, I think, is eventually going to be doing a two-base push here, landing the third CC shortly here.
Yeah, he's adding it on, but he has a ton of units, so he can definitely pressure. He's making 7 Marines at a time right now.
So as I was stating, like, Cure, he needs to pressure. It's not an all-in, he's expanding behind it, but he has to keep trading. He has to keep forcing Reynor to make units, because otherwise Cure's falling behind, right? Cure, he's been trading well, but because of how late his expansion is, because of how late the third base is, he needs more than this.
Move over here with the Lings. You've got to be super careful. That tank gets
Baiting speed is almost done.
He's going to try and get a good position here with the siege tanks behind this debris. This is super annoying to deal with as a Zerg. I love what Reynor's doing, though. His Lings are behind the Terran army.
This is a lot of times the best way to stop a push is to just intercept the next wave of reinforcements. But it's all, you know, Terran right now has enough.
Speed is done.
In fact, he's not even going to inch the tank.
He's around.
He's not going to even bother.
He's going for it. He's going for it. He commits.
Now, sandwiching this is the best way to approach
nice spread.
this. And I think this entire push...
Yeah, brutal baiting connections.
There's a couple Marines left over.
Yeah, Bailings do connect, tanks go down, and Reynor holds.
Stay and fight, at least not here, I think.
Yeah, the town count gets reset, though, which is huge. And meanwhile, on the back of this, Reynor on 65 workers here. Meanwhile, Cure has not even landed his
Like, this is what's important, is that Reynor, he's on 3-base saturation, and Cure, he's still just landing his third. Like, that's how committed, that's how devoted Cure was to this aggression. And again, trading with the army is not good enough.
Gonna try and load up with those medevacs, be annoying. These Lings dying around, seeing if they can get into the natural, but Cure will have that tank on the high ground, able to deny that. Meanwhile, this 4 medevac drop coming into the main. Not that many Marines, but still enough to pick off some stuff. Be annoying, drag the Zerg army home, and then get out of there.
Ooh,
Jesus.
Another pickup here.
Audio, please.
And,
oh my god.
I think Reynor's in just a pretty comfortable spot from that attack that he held off there earlier. As long as he basically doesn't get another...
so far, Reynor, he's looking fine here. Like, he's keeping up, he's holding on. Behind this, we have Burrow on the way. We have the Infestation Bit on the way as well. So we're taking up in towards what? This should be taking into Ultras. And if Reynor can get into Ultras, that's his win condition. That is his win condition.
Pushing on this map, in like the kind of position Reynor's in for Terran, I think it's a little bit harder than a lot of other maps.
Yeah, I think Reynor's probably going to want to wait until Cure takes like a 4th base and then attack in 2 places, that kind of thing. Right now, he is on the back foot. Cure is trying to use his multitasking, attacking.
The thing about Reynor, like, attacking when Cure has a 4th, Reynor, as we mentioned, like, his win condition should just be to get his Hive, to get his Ultras.
On the way. He's got his defense in position. These medevacs can't do anything. And the creep spread is starting to look really good here.
Okay, so...
The pit is done. We're waiting for the Hive.
Oh my gosh, the queens. I was wondering about those queens earlier. We saw the medevacs go by, because I don't think actually Cure knew there were that many queens over there, but if he accidentally...
we have 3 more Raxes on the way. No gases at the third base. It looks like Cure is going for an 8 Rax, but this 8 Rax is going to hit so late.
Reynor, despite...
It's hitting at what, like 11 minutes?
Early game,
more than that.
He's okay. He's looking really strong. And this game, by the way, so different
Bailings,
from the
let's
Mario
go.
games where it was all mech. Like we talked about a little bit, Sturgeon, before the games actually started. I thought this would look more traditional in TVZ, look more like TVZs in the past, and so far that's the case.
I love these Banein landmines Reynor's got out on the map here. It's so scary as a Terran. Like
so again, just to wind it back, just to re-emphasize, Cure, he's going to 2-2, and he's taking up into, I mean, he's going for a 3-base all-in. That's why Cure has no gases, and that's why Cure has no 4th CC. Like, straight up 3-base all-in out of Cure. I'm sure the gases will catch on eventually. Meanwhile, the Hive is on the way for Reynor. He did get a Hydrogen, which means he might not go into Ultras. I assumed he would, but with the Hydrogen, it does mean he has access to Lurker Tech.
100 Zerglings in front of you. Must be absolutely scared out of his mind right there, but he's going to do his best.
Oh, did he see the Baneling landmines?
Oh, he does scan it. Okay. Crucial scan there.
Yeah, that was going to be really important. You know, a lot of times these 2 bridges, that's where like a lot of friction on either side happen on the map. So
now remember, Cure, he doesn't really have much behind this, so it's kind of a one-and-done army.
Oh, you know,
Banelings, they coming from behind.
Thought he was sandwiching
Gets the tanks.
And I guess
Gets
he
all 3.
sort of got some of it anyways, but, well, there's like even units coming up from down here.
He reset the tank count.
He was so fragmented there, even though this surround from Reynor kind of came off looking a little weird. It basically got the job done.
Yeah, nice cleanup there by Reynor. He's going.
And remember, the longer this game goes on, the better it is for Reynor.
He is scaling well into the late game here. He's got his 5th base up as well. I think he's in a great position.
I was entering another dimension for a
minute.
minute.
A lot at that 3rd base. He does need another CC at some point. Unless
we were going back to the future.
3 CCs, but this army from Reynor is looking very scared.
Hold on to my TARDIS.
All the tools he needs to make this defense, right? You're going to have the
Where we're
abducts on the
going.
tanks before the patch goes live.
Right.
You're going to have the blinding clouds if necessary. Adrenal on the way now. Going to add a ton of damage to these
We don't
links.
need John Connor.
This could be the turning point in this game here as Cure is moving up, trying to get set up over the bridge as you talked about.
Getting ready for the surrounds.
That's kind of the
Hive
place
is
you want to
done.
put your tanks, right? And then slow push from there.
Yeah, he's going to continue to micro these back. Both sides are reaching that peak max
Jesus.
out. Reynor with a lot of gas. I mean, he can make so many Banelings. Keep in mind, Cure has kind of powered up on 3 bases.
Right.
It's not like he has
Oh,
half
they just
the map,
noticed.
where Reynor basically does.
Like, remember, this has been a 3-base hold for like 3 minutes at this point.
But I think with the sheer number of Banes that are available in this game,
like either Cure kills Reynor with this push or he dies trying.
Positioning is crazy good. Like, look at that spread. It's very anti-Baneling. I think the Baneling
Reynor just has to take it slow.
So high, it might not
He
even matter.
commits.
We're gonna find
He's
out
going
now.
for the
He's an
dive.
amazing fight here.
The
Cure on
Vipers,
ropes.
the blinding clouds.
Are beautiful on the tanks. None of them can fire whatsoever. So many Banes and Lings rolling in here. Going to take out all the tanks. The Marines are falling. Cure is on the back rope here. The Queen's even coming
Doesn't
forward
get the
to
tank.
hit those medevacs. Cure took a pretty
very
good
nice.
fight overall, considering though. And Reynor needs to regroup. He just needs
So they didn't
time to
notice,
spend
and
his
I hope that you
tank,
noticed in the
get units
chat,
out. He's gonna try and end
Reynor,
game
in the
before
middle
that
of that surround, he borrowed Banelings. He borrowed Banelings as he was surrounding the army, and he got some brutal connections towards the end there with those borrowed Banelings. It was insane. It's crazy.
But there's so many Lings here, it just doesn't matter. And
Again, he borrowed and detonated Banelings in the middle of that fight.
And remember, like, Cure didn't deny.
That was smooth, Papi. That was smooth. And remember, what we were trying to emphasize earlier, Cure, he was all in. He was 3-base all in. Like, Cure, that's why he plummets in supply, and that's why he kind of replenished that supply either. He's not set up for a longer game.
Yeah, Reynor's up to 6 bases here. He is looking good. The one thing Cure will have going for him is 3-3. It's about halfway done right now. I think that's going to be kind of his last chance to make something happen in this game. He's hitting a sick 3-3 timing. But Reynor's supply is getting out of control now. He's had the worker lead all game. He did have the hiccup losing the
problem
third
is,
base, but he just can't.
3-3 is nice. Vipers are better. Hive Tech is better, right? He already has Adrenal. We were assuming, and he could have gone into Ultras a little bit faster as well. But it's Ultra Love, so I mean, again, Ultras can be quite difficult to get into because of the short rushes by ground. We just see Hydra upgrades on the way, so it looks like he's not really thinking about Ultras. He's thinking more about Hydra into Lurker Tech.
Really down in supply, is able to play the positional game.
Yeah, he's in 2 places
Gets a
at once,
base.
trying to stretch in the multitasking of Reynor. Reynor has a huge pack of Lings on the map here. He's going to probably wait for Cure to move out and then send those in. Meanwhile, the medevacs get in parasitic bombed. One of them does go down. The units need to go back to the main and deal with this little force. Another parasitic bomb on the medevac in the main. Reynor's defense looking very good this game. He's even added in Hydras now, so the medevacs won't be able to just fly around over the Ling Bane forever. They will eventually get shot down.
So, things have evened out quite a bit. And the truth is, especially the base in the top left, it's really far away from everything. Reynor doesn't have that many more spots on the map. Cure can keep trying to grow here. It is harder to kind of take an entire side of the map as Terran when you're playing this comp. You really have to kind of rely on having.
I mean, Reynor, he can start taking Cure's bases, to be honest.
Army that can kind of clear areas. And so, by the way, Reynor at 6 o'clock is going to counterattack here.
Yeah, huge run by here at 2 bases at once. Going to get a bunch.
Bearing in mind that Cure doesn't really have much of an economy to begin with. We're coming for the surround. We attempted surround even.
Army is so clumped up.
Oh, the blinding clouds! Oh my god!
Beautiful blinding cloud on that
insane.
tank. The Terran army is starting to fall here. The Marines and Marauders kiting as best as they
the
can.
Marines!
Actually, a pretty good trade for Cure, but Reynor is remaking.
This time they notice.
At once. These Lings still not cleaned up, doing more damage.
But again, what was crazy about those blinding clouds wasn't the blinding clouds were on top of the tanks. It was Cure's mispositioning. He had actually created a bottleneck himself because his tanks had actually choked in the rest of his bio army. So the blinding clouds covered the tanks and they covered the bio army as well. So much wasted DPS there for Cure.
Still trying to push across the map. He can make this work. I mean, the supply is pretty low, but the army supply is actually pretty high here for for Kier.
Now, what is making this game closer than it should have been is, one, Reynor didn't really make use of that hive tech. Yes, he got his spell caches, but again, I'm a little bit shocked that he never got into his own ultras. The other thing is that Reynor's drone count is very low. Very low drone count. So, yes, Kier is all in, but Reynor also doesn't really have the most efficient mining. He lost a base earlier, and he might lose another. Oh, not a good trade for Reynor. That's going to be a lot of links going down.
Will have to leave. These Hydras come over to help.
Yeah, Reynor taking a bad fight. Likewise, lost an expansion.
But he did get the hatchery. That is something. There are a few spores there as well to help with the anti-air. Kira's going to push over on the right side now. He's still trying to clear out this creep. He's actually done a very good job at denying the creep spread. It basically hasn't moved in the last like 8 or 9 minutes. It was kind of at this point a while back. And
it's been a lot of creep denial, but it's also been Reynor has not been respreading that creep.
Yeah, he's just running here in the middle. These medevacs have a ton of units in. We'll need to unload. I think Reynor's going to be the one that will try to be aggressive. Morphing your mineral line. That is not what you want.
Yeah, definitely annoying. Actually, bros again. He could unbro it and make a Bane again later. You know, it's weird.
But yeah, Reynor being unable to take another expansion, he can't keep up. Like Reynor, he needs a base, he needs mining. Shout out to Cure. Despite Cure being very low eco, he's forcing Reynor to also be very low eco.
Bases aren't really like, even when you know, normally in a lot of maps you expand, and when the game gets big enough, you're expanding towards them.
Right.
I don't feel like that ever really happens on this map.
Yeah, there's like so many horizontal bases kind of spread around your side of the map, and kind of this no man's land in the middle. Reynor, though, is going into lurkers here.
What they're getting at is that they're explaining why we see a lot of split map scenarios on Ultra Love, just because of the delineation between one half of the map and the other. And the terrain and ramps in the center, of course, as well.
That lurker den is now done, so these Hydras will be able to more.
So Reynor, finally, he's getting into his quote-unquote hive tech lurkers, but it is at 19 minutes. Jesus.
That seems to be his focus in this game. We do see
quite
the
late.
Groove Spines upgrade on the way. 5 lurkers and +3 melee for Reynor. Adding in some more gas, really going to try and lean in heavily to the lurkers. And at some point, that can get out of control as a Terran, right?
Right.
He's adding in the ghosts now. They will be able to snipe those. That's useful. He's got a couple Liberators as well. And yeah, I'm actually surprised how well Kira has managed to stay in this game and get his economy going here.
Well, I mean, this is the main. I don't know if they pointed it out, but this is the main base that was floated over. That's how scrappy this game has been, and that's how aggressive and all-in Kira has been. Like, Kira has been playing on a very low eco, but he's able to take new bases.
Like top left and center right.
He can float over his natural when he needs to as well.
But other than that, I think Terran doesn't want to try to close this out with a push anymore.
Yeah, really nice blinding crowd on the turret.
How many
You're
ghosts?
going to let those Vipers fly around wherever they want. The Lurkers siege the CC, so it does have to lift here. One medevac parasitic bombs. Here comes the Zerg army. Decides not to pull the trigger there. Maybe, okay, a little bit hesitant here. He's still denying this base from mining though, so this is good damage for Reynor.
Okay, the push has succeeded, but it didn't do a ton of damage, right? He just forces it to lift off. Oh my god.
Oh, is he looking?
Oh! Nice. It's too bad they weren't stacked in pairs, or he could have actually killed off a lot more. That'll at least drain the medevacs.
Solid connections.
Which a lot of times, you know, Terrans do lose fights when they just can't actually heal anymore. They don't have that sustain. But yeah, the game has really, really slowed down.
Yeah, indeed. Kira adding on 2 more CCs. He's getting his Liberators. He's adding turrets to deal with the Vipers.
It's slowed down in a sense to give them enough time to actually expand, but again, it's still just really low eco. This is why the Cure has no bang, right? Like Cure, he has no bang. He has 54 SCVs to work with. He's like barely hanging on there with what he has. It's impressive.
Just moving up here on the edge of creep.
But now that we're getting into Lurker Viper tech, what's the ghost count looking like? That's what matters. The things that get in.
With Adrenal.
Yeah, and you know the funny thing about when you're maxed out here is you can't rely on units popping out to kill this.
That's true.
It's like this. It's a really big.
He moves in. Nice flying clouds. Where are the Vipers? Sorry, where are the ghosts?
He's going to lose some of his army and be able to remake the army inside of his main. But this damage that Reynor did, this actually will be so hard to recover from because. Oh, never mind. He gets some of the army back over here. Still, a lot of infrastructure missing. This is going to be really hard. I'll go back to my original statement. It's going to be a very tough game from here on out for Cure because Reynor, I think for the first time outside of squishing a push, has basically done a ton of damage. There's going to have to be a lot of rebuilding here. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be smooth sailing here from Reynor.
Yeah, that one Zergling there denying the CC from landing. Always annoying as a Terran player. You have to send units, you have to scan to get rid of it. That is what we see now. On the back of this, though, Reynor has a huge bank. Almost 4k minerals, 1.5k gas. He's going to be able to make another round or two of units here, whereas Cure is still not maxed. He does have a lot of money, but he's not able to spend it because of the damage the Ling's done.
Okay, another attack in over here. The Lurkers are going to try to run. Stim Marines and Marauders are a little bit faster. Yeah, they're, you know,
I can't
you
waddle
think about
away.
Hydras is the worst unit to retreat off of creep, but Lurkers are actually pretty bad too. You know, even though, you know, Cure took a couple lumps earlier from Reynor, I'm still trying to figure out, does Reynor have enough to actually wipe out these positions? Because this game is probably going to end with Reynor winning with a push or losing with pushes. I don't think it's going to be about Terran trying to stop the Zerg anymore.
Yeah, Reynor's decided his time.
We get a Disney and P. Okay, the Groat's finally coming into play.
Bombs go down on the medevacs. The worker line going to
Reynor's going for the economy.
Lots of SCVs going down.
Gets a
huge
planetary.
Hydra count, actually. Going to attack into the Lurkers here. So scary as a Terran player. Reynor denies this base again, and this is looking like it's going to be critical damage. Even taking the base right next to Cure's there. And he has the other one at the 4 o'clock position on the map. Reynor's economy looking great. Cure down to 30 workers right now.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, Reynor, he's now taking Cure's bases, and behind this, Cure, he's down to 29 SCVs. Finally, some economic damage has been dealt. Cure has been barely hanging on by lifting and landing his CC, his main base, his natural base as well. Finally, he has them landed, or he got them landed. He was keeping up, he was keeping his head above water, but now he's out of steam. At this point, Cure's out of steam.
That's crazy.
But I'm very impressed that he survived it long. Like, Cure, he hung on for like a good 15 minutes longer than I thought he would have. Like, things are looking over at around the 10-minute mark. Like, no, Cure, he hung in there.
You have to, like, you know,
Very impressive.
Go all the way and finish them off. You just let them spend money on building defenses out here, smash it with your superior economy, and then just run back and wait for them to do it again.
Yeah, there is a planetary here. The tank, the Liberator getting pulled into those Hydralisks will go down instantly.
It's a planetary.
The planetary falls. The CC gonna have to lift her if it wants to live. A little bit of an awkward angle with that CC kind of blocking it, but GG is called. Beautiful game, #1 here from Reynor. Swarm in the map. Nice defense at the start of what was kind of an unusual build from Cure.
Yeah.
You know, with the bunker to deny that third base.
I mean, the late game was great, but honestly, the early game strat was my favorite.
Yeah.
So he kills. So I would have done the same thing if from the Zerg's vantage point. I would see 2 barracks and be like, oh, it's Reapers. And then these Marines pop out. You're like, so the Overlord gets killed, which basically never happens, right? In pro play, you're never losing the first Overlord to Marines. Even on like low-level play, you eventually know where to hide it. So that created a really interesting situation where Zerg actually doesn't know what's going to happen.
So what Cure went for here, we have been seeing a little bit more from players like Bjorn and even Maru been mixing it in a little bit as well. But you know, to give them credit, this is not like mainstream. This is not standard play. So it was a really nice start for Cure. But we did kind of mention how Reynor, Cure, he was hoping that Reynor would drone up harder. He was hoping that Reynor, after losing his third base, would drone up a little bit harder, be a little bit greedier when it came to the follow up, and even the follow push from that one as well. But we saw that Reynor, he was staying on a very low drone count. He droned up to 40, then he droned up to 45. Like, he did not over drone. He still had plenty of Ling Queen to work with. So despite Cure's aggression, despite his move outs, he never quite caught Reynor with his pants down. And Cure fell behind. We spoke about, if you remember, how Cure, he had a very late third base. Even for a 3-base all-in, like, it was an insanely late third. So Cure, he was losing a lot of steam. Once we saw the third base thrown down, once we realized it was not a 2-base all-in, it was like, ooh, like, Cure was just playing from behind. He was just playing from, when we saw the third base thrown down, he was just playing from behind, and he never quite caught back up. Yes, he maxed out, but the soup does lie, right? Like, he just never had the economy to sustain a maxed out army, which is why he was just stuck on low eco the entire time. It was basically all in for 24 minutes. And it was impressive that he hung in, as I mentioned before, it was really impressive that Cure hung in there as long as he did with a low eco, but only for so long. GG.
Reynor will be spawning here as the red Zerg in the top left. And in the bottom left of Persephone, it is Cure in blue.
Yeah. This is going to be a fun one. This map, you know, you both start on the left side.
But here we go. This time we do have the depot on the high ground, so we're going to be going for a more standard opener from the side of Cure. And we can get into a more standard game state. Reynor going for his own 15 opener as well.
We'll see how the game kind of pans out. It is a map where you can get a fourth base.
And our eyes are mainly going to be on Cure here to see how he opens up and whether or not we see Mech. Again, Mech has been on the rise. We've been seeing Mech from Björn, Mech from Maru, Mech from Clem, and Mech from Cure as well. So I do expect to see Mech at some point in this series. We didn't see the game 1, but we're on Ultra Love. I would expect to see Mech on maps like Pylon. I would expect to see Mech on maps like Tokamak, Maganatha, Persephone. I'm a little bit more on the fence line.
Pretty standard here in the early game. Nothing crazy happening this time. The Overlord will be able to survive, which is always nice. Okay, we do see the gas go down, followed by the pull shortly here. And yeah, I'm very curious. I think it's up to Cure here to make something happen. Reynor could do one of those roach pressure builds that we saw yesterday. He could even all in with that. But usually I think we're going to be looking to Cure as the guy to mix it up, bring out some different strategies here. He's got a wide variety in his tool belt that he can use in this matchup. Reaper being made now will be sent across the map. Try and be annoying, deny creep, maybe get the drone at the third if you're lucky. Doesn't usually happen at top level, but you never know.
Okay, so we have the SCV doing the scout now. This is a very, very different opener from game 1.
It's okay. So we have our standard openers here. Again, Hatch Gas Pool out of Reynor. We have our Reaper Expand out of Cure. Once again, we're just keeping an eye on the early tech. When it comes to Persephone, there are some unique features like the goal base, like the healing pad, like the speed zones. But very similarly, or I should even say more extremely compared to Ultra Love, the bases are split. The map is split in half, and very clearly you delineate one half from the other, and it is very difficult, if not impossible, to take your opponent's bases, to take your opponent's expansions and try to take that momentum away from them. So we often do see a lot of split map in longer and later games.
Bunker rush that succeeded in killing the third hatchery, and it still ended up with Reynor taking the whole map and actually stopping Cure from basically keeping a fourth base.
Yeah, the run buys were so good by Reynor in game number 1. I think we kind of glossed over it, but they did a ton of damage. He's able to get 2 successful run buys into the natural. Super annoying to clear up for
Run buys were good.
Also, speaking of annoying, is having to remake this extractor like 100 times.
Behind this, we do have our third CC. Reynor he cannot expand.
Add on another queen here.
Reynor, he does not have a third.
Reynor
That's a very late third.
Here. Ooh. Going to be adding on second gas. That will open up some potential aggression for him. We do see the third base going down now. Oh, wait, was that an extractor trick?
I was about to say.
Did you just extractor trick something? Okay, anyway, some Zerglings coming in here trying to catch these Marines without.
So for those that are curious, our lovely caster here thought that a second gas was being taken. It wasn't a second gas. It was the drone that was surviving by turning into a gas geyser, right? Like like Reynor, his third base was heavily delayed because he had to try to save that drone. But,
just going to be droning up here, playing a normal game.
It's fine.
Getting his ling speed, getting his third base. Finally, it was delayed for quite a while.
Yeah. The most important thing about all this, though, is that it's a really late third base here for Reynor. Really late third.
Kind of your standard TVZ here. Like, we're going to get the Hellions to come out. I think all that Cure can do for now is try to just, pressure creep.
Go Thanos. No, it's just we're just watching the game, Bob. That's all we're doing, Bob. Yeah.
That would be a really nice kickoff. If you can get any damage with your Reaper at this point. Oh, but it does buy some time for the Hellions to run into the natural.
Hellions get in.
They don't go for it because of the Evo.
Wing had a little bit lower.
Oh,
we get this around.
Reynor has speedlings here. I think he's just going to lose both Hellions for nothing.
Yeah,
nice
Cure's kind of feeding here.
Yeah.
He's sort of feeding his army, or his units into Reynor, which is never a good thing. The next play is going to be Banshees here with Cloak from Cure, which is not too surprising just because of this map.
So we have 3CZ Banshee out of Cure.
I see that Banshee come out.
I believe that is a tech lab on the way on that Rax. Thankfully, extra Rax is on the way. No mech. Getting into bio.
And the lack of value that was.
Again, I still feel like we'll be seeing mech at some point in this series, but so far, not in the first 2 games.
Yeah, for sure, I would say so. Cure does have his third CC this game, so he's going to have a much better economy than last game. If he wants to go into these kind of mid-game Marine tank pushes. We see Stim being added now, so no mech on the cards. Adding 2 more racks, going to be going into a pretty normal-looking mid-game here. And we're going to probably see the pushes that we kind of know Cure for. Getting tons of Marines and tanks. This Banshee flies in, gets 1 drone, is shooed away by the
So just like last game, we're going to be keeping an eye on the production setup here. Cure is going double eBay, but that's going to be double eBay after these second and third racks. So I don't think this is too indicative of an 8 racks. I feel like usually whenever we see an 8 racks with this, we see earlier double eBay, but we'll keep an eye on the gases. Cure did 8 racks last game, so it's still on the table here.
The ability to just kind of have longevity, you know what I mean? It's not going to be one where he's going to try to come in here and close this out.
Getting up to 5 Raxes.
A slower paced game here still for a while. We got the Evo Chamber, the second one coming down too. His armor's about halfway done.
Yeah, Reynor is taking that top right base as his 4th, which, as he was saying earlier, can be a little bit more difficult to push. There are the speed zones over there, but it's very far away from the Terran base. You have a really long way to walk, so you can't like do a really quick marine tank
Thank you,
push
Ariel
there.
Mortis. Thank you.
You know, you're just going to get spotted. And
We appreciate the kind words. I mean, we were at least able to co-cast. we at least co-streamed EWC. That's okay. I'm okay with that.
As well. I think with him
It's
shooting away these Banshees again, he's in a really good position here.
Yeah. Yeah, the infestation pit coming here as well. And so we had that 4th base that was taken.
We have gases being taken to the 3rd. So we did mention that the E-bays were later than usual, and now we have our gases, which means this is indicative of a second factory over 4cc of a standard setup here for the Terran player.
I don't know if there's any incentive for Terran.
So this is a little more macro-oriented compared to last game, where last game we were just hyper committed and hyper all-in. Here we're slowing things down a lot more from the side of Cure.
It's further away.
Meanwhile, the infestation bit is done for Reynor. Hive is on the way. Reynor, we assumed he was going to go Lingbane Ultra last game, and he went Lingbane into very delayed Hydra Lurker. Here, Lingbane Ultra looks a lot more viable. It looks a lot more comfortable for Reynor. So we'll keep an eye on that tech. We'll see if we throw them the Ultra Cavern.
You know, jump on the Terran army. Combat shield about halfway done.
When it comes to stylistic play, when it comes to our players here, as Curious pushing,
got 3 hatcheries in production.
he's going for his like 730-ish move outs. When it comes to our players, players like Serral, players like it feels dark, man, feels dark. But a lot of the other Rogue players like Shin, like Rogue, they all do play Roach quite often. Roach into Ultra has been very trendy. Reynor, whenever he can, he will skip Roaches. He'll just go Ling Bane into Ultra. But if I'm not mistaken, I think he even skipped his Baneliness, right? I think this is just straight up Ling Ultra. No Baneliness. He has to rely so heavily on this fungal. Again, this is the style that Reynor's been playing for the past couple of months.
There are Hellbats ready to go. Just
doesn't land the fungal.
Yeah,
but again, if you're looking at Reynor's setup here, and if you see, you're like, hold up, where are the Banelings? It's intentional. There is no nest. There are no Banelings. This is how Reynor plays ZvT.
Cutting off the reinforcements. He sees there aren't any.
With mixed results. Because it is so risky to play without Banelings. So risky.
So quick, man.
Okay, he's probably gonna let the hatchery tank a little bit more damage. He doesn't have to
like again, he's heavily reliant on these fungal growths.
Here, so he's gonna try to accumulate a little bit more. Remember, Terran's not.
And if he gets away with it, he's able to succeed and able to excel with ultras.
And it's going to
comes over the surround.
Reynor, I think one engagement
Oof.
coming from both sides here. The fungal goes down as well.
The medevac.
The medevac will fall with a ton of units
full
in.
Medevac.
Textbook cleanup by Reynor.
Show us the production tab. Show us the Ultra Cavern. There it is.
Cure is hitting.
Ultra Cavern's on the way. So far, he's getting away with lack of Banelings.
Pick this off, it would be something.
Yeah, well, he needs a win right now, right? He does manage to get it, and it was really Reynor. Not that he didn't have enough, but he was out of position, and he could get this base as well.
Transfuse is available. He might
gets one expansion, doesn't quite get the other.
Okay, there. We do see some of them go down. In the main as well, though, Cure trying to multitask as best as he can. Get some damage done. These Banshees just hanging out in the speed zones right now.
Now, Reynor did lose an expansion, but that is worth getting away without Banelings and getting into that Ultra Cavern. So again, this is Reynor's big power spike, is that Ultra Tech.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny. Normally, you don't see, like, the push fail, but then, like, the little harass move work. But, yeah, I mean, I guess in some ways it's mission accomplished. He took that hatchery out. He's going to send these medevacs up, or sorry,
Ultra Cavern's done.
Up here.
Here comes the first wave of Ultras. And again, Cure's not ready for this. Like, Cure, he doesn't have Ghosts. Now, he is working on Marauders. We're making 4 Marauders at a time. Cure, he knows. Like, Cure, he saw the Infestation Pit. Sorry, he saw the Infestors, so he knows that Ultras are coming. He's aware.
In the top right, good defense by Reynor. I don't think he'll take much damage to the Banshees up there. And right now, Cure's just going to try and max out and go for a big push, probably. He has added his 4th CC. He's getting a Planetary on the way. Even adding some Widow Mines. I like that. And he's pumping out 4 Marauders at a time, so he's kind of making an army composition to deal with the Ultralisks in advance.
Yeah, he's going to try to push out again.
So many Zerglings, dude.
Yeah, it's just an absurd amount of Lings here. You don't normally see this many Lings just fighting, but I think they might actually be able to win that fight down there. It's actually.
And again, the reason why you don't see often a lot of Lings like this fighting, but you're seeing it here and you have to rely on it, is because again, there's no Banelings, so you need these Lings to trade as best they can. Ooh. does shut this down. Not bad.
I mean,
And now we see a Baneling Nest. This is a 10:30 Baneling Nest. It's so very late. But again, it's by design.
He skipped the Banes for like
that's
basically
so
the
funny.
whole game.
I didn't even notice he hadn't made a Baneling.
Oh, they didn't even notice.
That's so sick. Oh, Reynor's so good. Okay, another fungal.
But again, just to reiterate, this is a style that Reynor's been doing for the past couple of months. It is very stylistic to Reynor with mixed results. We have seen Reynor punish for this, and we've seen Terran players break Reynor. Terran players like Cure, like Bjorn as well. We've seen them Clem. We've seen them break Reynor and punish him for not having Banelings. But here he has gone away with it. It helps that Cure decided not to A-Rax. Like if Cure was A-Raxing, I think he probably would have killed Reynor. But he didn't.
Now Reynor has the potential to go for a time in as the Ultralisk upgrades finish. He's going to catch this Terran army on the map. The Widow Mines are not sieged. Okay, he doesn't decide to commit without the Ultras and the Infestors there. It's a little bit risky. We have these Queens over here, but they are no match for the Terran army.
This sounds
right
really
now.
done to beat Clem, since Clem snipes every single Baneling. No, this is something he does against all Terrans, but it's mainly to just be greedy to cut corners. Oh. To cut corners, to be able to preserve your gas to get a faster infestation bit, faster hive, and faster ultras. Like it's all just about like getting to ultras as quickly as possible.
The question is if he can deal with that army from Kira on the other side of the map. The ultras
and
actually
the ultras
going to
are
go
here
without the rest of the army here.
Fungal
they are
lands.
so tanky. The fungals are excellent. Going to be forced back here. Reynor now just needs to regroup.
But I guess I do agree in the sense that like it's something that he does specifically because Banelings are a little bit less effective because they have less HP. But the alternative, which is more standard, is that players play Roachling Bane, right, instead of just Ling Infestor. Like they play Roachling Bane, Roachling into Ultra instead of Ling into Ultra.
Barren wasteland of destroyed buildings here. If he hits 6 o'clock, I mean, Cure literally has nothing going for him.
Yeah, Reynor even taking that gold base.
Reynor, he doesn't like his roaches like everyone else. He doesn't like it.
Normally the person who can take the gold base is the guy with the map control and who's in a good position. Oftentimes it's the Zerg, as we see here. We have 42 SCVs going down. Cure's down to 36.
Can Cure bounce back? I mean, it's difficult because Reynor got away with a lot of greed, right? Like, he got away with a lot of greed. And the problem is that they were talking about, like, oh, Cure's getting, like, an anti-Ultra army. Cure doesn't have ghosts. Like, Cure, he can't have ghosts because these ultras hit so fast. Cure had to break Reynor ahead of time. And he's at least sniping bases, right? He's at least sniping some expansions that is hindering and keeping Reynor busy. And for Cure to recover in this game, he has to keep him busy and get into ghost production. Right now, he's getting into Liberators and Marauders, which is like more of a band-aid solution. This can work as well. He just has to buy time.
Barely hanging on.
Just buy time.
Cure puts up a really good fight, by the way. I feel like he's one of the most tenacious Terrans of all time, but you know, earlier we had 40 SCVs killed. I kind of forgot to mention it. I saw it on the ticker on the side here. And, you know,
I say by time he's on 37 SCVs. Like that's something that I overlooked as well. The fact that he lost so many workers. Like, oh god, Cure's all in at this point. There is no taking up. Like Cure is gonna max out, and Cure will have he has a massive army. Cure, he has 150 army supply, but it's one and done, right? It's a one and done thing for Cure.
That is a huge Terran army.
Yeah, that's all he's got going for him. So he has like an army that's so big you don't really see that very often. But
now this is good for Cure. Reynor will break the planetary, but he's gonna waste some Ling Bane here, and Cure's just going all in. He's just sending it. Send it, man. Oh, no, he runs into the ultras. Fungal connects.
The only way that Cure could win this
game
in the ultra zone
is
if he pushed all the way.
He's gonna go. He's gonna send it.
Everything Zerg has, basically. He's got this Hail Mary moment.
Reynor pulls back.
Where he needs to basically kill everything.
Again, time is on Reynor's side. Reynor just has to buy time for more Banelings.
Still so scary from Cure though. 145.
More Banelings, more Lings.
The Ultra's gonna get the Ling run bys continue to happen. Reynor's so good with these run bys.
Yeah, Reynor's fine.
Always getting the Lings into the thread and the natural when the Terran army moves out. Okay, so a nice little pick up there. Is he gonna go back?
I feel like he actually has to just try to push and win. I could be wrong. But, like, I don't know that you go back and defend your 18 SCVs and start making stuff again. I just feel like this isn't going to work. Even though he's done a good job poking out these bases, I mean, there's still plenty of mining here.
Yeah, it's so scary to just send it on creep, though. You know, if you get surrounded by a bunch of Banelings, you might just get wiped out.
Oh, he's
so
crazy!
Many Banelings here. Will he detonate them?
Oh,
huge connection. Absolutely.
That's the Reynor.
I love that he didn't do it on the Marauders.
The money shot, papi. Ay, ay, ay.
Well, I could kill the Marauders, or I could wait. Big juicy hit there.
Oh, no.
And now, you know, it's sad.
Reynor, he exploded all over Cure. Ah.
And Reynor's basically, yep, he maxes out.
Not
Says,
like
"Throw
this."
everything in here. See how much
He's
I
just
can
going to
clean
clean up.
Yeah,
And,
so many ultras and banes rolling in here, and this is it for Cure. Like, he's not remaking this army again if he loses it. Meanwhile, Reynor had a big bank. He had 2k in the bank. He's just spent
There's
it.
the Corruptors.
And now he has Corruptors, so he can actually start to kill the Liberators and the Medevacs. Deny drops. There's actually no more Marines left after those Baneling mines, just a few of them. So the Corruptors kind of having free reign over the air here. Dude, look at that income graph. That is insane. Reynor's so ahead right now. He doesn't need to do anything crazy. He's just so far ahead, right?
Yeah. I mean,
this is similar to how the last game ended as well, where Cure, he has no economy. He has no economy. He has nothing to sustain himself. Like, he's on his last legs. He's trying to make this work. Does have a large army to work with, that is true, but as the game progresses, like, Reynor can afford to replace his army, and Cure just can't. Can't afford it. GG.
GG. That is a 2-0 lead for Reynor, who frankly looks untouchable in the matchup ZvT. I mean, he looks like there's nothing that he can do. I don't know what Cure was supposed to do better back there.
Yeah, I mean, he did lose those Hellions.
We spoke about it before, but when it comes to Cure's build of choice, we spoke about it. If Cure had gone for an 8-Rax, he most likely would have broken Reynor. Like, we've seen Beyond break Reynor, we've seen Clem break Reynor, we've seen even, I want to say, Cure as well. In this matchup, we spoke about it, but Reynor, it is quite greedy to skip out on those Banelings. There was a comment earlier about Banelings being a little bit ineffective there in that kind of game state anyway, especially against the top Terrans. Well, that is why typically we see Roach base openers, and Roach Ling into Ultra is safer, and that's what Shin does, that's what Sola does, that's what Serral does. Like, Serral doesn't go for this style. Serral, he does open up Roach instead, but it's a slower style, it's a slow way of playing it out. It does delay your ultras. Your ultras are still quite fast. This is just a little bit faster, right? This is just faster ultra, even compared to the Roach base opener, because of where your gas is being spent. Like, this is just so greedy from Reynor, so you have to punish early on, whether it's going for an 8-Rax or committing with early Hellion damage as well, but you have to be more active and more aggressive. Unfortunately, Cure didn't really realize what was going on, and he was playing standard, right? Like, Cure, he was building up into a 4th CC, he was building up to a greater economy, he was just playing a standard game, and he was able to kill some bases, but nothing meaningful, no meaningful damage. In the end, Reynor got away with it. Reynor, he got away with the build, he got away with it, and Reynor snowballed out of control. And now the pressure's on. I believe we're going to be cutting to a break. I believe we're going to be going for a break here, and when we come back, we'll have the remainder of the series. We'll see if Cure can bounce back. We'll see if Reynor will close it out, as I believe the next game is going to be on Evil Heart. I don't remember what Evil Heart looks like, but it's one of the new maps. It's one of the new maps in the custom map pool. We'll see how it plays out. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the RSL, the Revival StarCraft League Season 2 Playoffs, day number 7? Day 7? Yeah, day number 7 here. The second last day of the RSL, of the playoffs, and we're halfway through our first series. We're halfway through. Reynor's up 2-0, and Reynor needs one more game to claim the entire series and to advance on to that rematch against Zan. Again, Cure having a bit of a harder time. When it came to the series itself so far, I don't think it's been really too telling. Game 1, if you remember, was Cure opening up 2-Rax Marine into a 2-base all-in, into an 8-Rax, into a delayed 8-Rax as well. It was hyper-aggression and failed hyper-aggression out of Cure, and he fell further and further behind as the game went on. Game number 2, we saw Reynor get away with a lot of greed. Cure this time did decide to play macro, decide to play standard. As a result, Reynor got away with cutting corners, got away with skipping out on Banelings, and got away with Ling into Hive into Ultra, which snowballed out of control. So far, the builds have been working in favor of Reynor. I say the builds, again, Reynor in game 1 was able to play safe, was able to not overdrone and shut down the aggression of Cure. Here in game 2, we saw more greed out of Reynor instead. We'll see how our builds do shape up as we get into game 3 on Evil Heart. Only 12 bases on this map. That's crazy. I don't think I've casted on Evil Heart before. I'll be honest. So very quickly, short rush distance by ground. Looks like we have a proxy hatchery. Reynor is going for some cheese. Okay. So we haven't been able to see. I haven't been able to see any games on Evil Hearts, and we're gonna get like one hyper aggressive game. We do have a hatch gas pool opener, proxy hatchery, of course, from the side of Reynor. We'll see if we go for a Roach Warren into a Ravager all in. Oh.
SCV going to start to poke away
Just
on
on the chat audio, my apologies.
Reynor is going to expand behind this though. So
it's okay, they didn't say anything anyway, it's fine. But I do apologize.
The CC maybe for as long as he can.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it looks like he might just cancel it in the last second. Or even, he might even just let it finish and just like let the creep actually expand, because it will take a long time for the creep
so this
to go
looks
away.
like we're not going for any kind of major aggression, we're just droning, right? We have 4 lings on the way. Hatchery is done. More lings, but Reynor is taking the expansion back at home, which leads me to believe that we might macro out of this. But we'll see, we'll see. Link speed. Reynor, does he stay in gas?
I'm not like totally up to date with these types of
He does not.
So I'm just kind of learning along with the rest.
So he doesn't stay in gas, so he pulls back into pure mineral production or mineral income.
Would have been awful. That would have been a terrible start for this defense.
Bunker's done.
Happened.
Yeah, Reynor actually going to commit to making some lings here. He's making nothing but lings right now. I think this is going to be a ling all in here. That bunker will probably die at some point once the ling speed is done. A queen is going to come out, can throw down a creep tumor. You know, spread the creep towards the Terran main. Going to add a bit more damage on
a lot of lings getting let off here.
Reynor's going for this. Nothing but lings in production. It's all about how can.
Yeah, so Reynor, he is just all in and he's just ling flooding. Ling speed is still a ways away.
This Reaper getting so low on health, but will manage to survive.
Second bunker's done.
On the high ground is key. Will Reynor go for this? Yep. I thought he might just try and die into the main, but of course you can lift the depot. This bunker is going to be gone.
So now Reynor starts to drone.
Adding a couple of drones in.
This was a big commitment. This was a big commitment here from Reynor. Now, he at least does contain the Terran player on one base, and Reynor can drone, but Reynor has a lot of droning to do. What this comes down to is how long can Reynor delay the natural, right? How long can he delay the natural base? How long can he deny the natural from Cure and gain an economic lead from here?
That's going to be kind of a suicide mission, so just going to go now back into the drone since we have the hatchback at home as well.
Well, thank you so much for the gifted subs, Ariel Mortis in the chat, and also for the subscription as well earlier during the break. Thank you, Papi, thank you. God, I do appreciate it. For 5 months.
How are we going to get rid
Gracias,
of this in an
Papi,
efficient
gracias.
manner? How are we going to get rid of all this creep? Because that's going to take forever to recede, so we can actually even expand.
So behind this, Cure, he's going for a 2-1-1. He's going for a second Rax before third TC. So Cure's going for an aggressive follow-up.
And there's actually some lings out. He's going for cyclones, but on creep, if the lings catch those cyclones, they might even take them out. This is kind of funny, making a bunch of drones here and going to send them home. The lings do try to dive on the cyclone. Okay, he manages to use the Sim City to his advantage.
So this might just turn. Well, I will say it's an awkward start. I was going to say this might turn into a 2-base all-in, but I think it might be a little bit too early to call for that.
Super long distance there. This game is.
But it's going to be very committed.
That's so funny. You just see just a bunch of drones running back home. It's like, oh wait, we were made at the wrong hatchery. What are we doing over here? Yeah, that is a sight you don't normally see in these games, but we'll be able to get them evacuated safely. And then it's just the lings basically trying to.
So this is the big timing available to Cure. Nice around. Oh, the cyclone does get it.
Actually down.
That should not have happened.
Really limit how long it takes for this hatchery to die. Trying to get as many larvae out of that as possible.
So as you're pointing out, because the cyclone got surrounded, that does mean that this hatchery is going to last even longer.
On the drones very soon.
So
once he
big delay.
A few more, he's going to have his third base coming in as well, and Cure still can't get a natural secured.
It's 5 minutes and Terran doesn't have a base. This is kind of a little bit of a nightmare situation. Even once you kill the hatchery, as you mentioned, you need to wait for the creep to dissipate. You need to spend a scan to get rid of the tumor. It's going to be a very long time until Cure gets his natural. He does have Stim on the way. He's making 5 Marines at a time of 1 base, which is kind of insane. And he's going to have a medevac.
Yeah, they're catching onto it. Remember, this is a 3-rack setup on 2 bases. There's no third TC, so this stim timing is going to hit like a truck for Cure.
This hatchery is going to get killed off. We're not going to use those queens to heal it. It might not even have enough energy, honestly. But I feel like the
And if Reynor doesn't get a Roach Horn, and if he doesn't get a Bailey Nest, Cure could kill.
How much creep is even being spread here? I love the fact that
Hellbats, let's go, Armory.
Knowing that he's gonna have to get rid of this creep.
So he's going to go for that. It's a 2-base all-in, sim timing with Hellbats as well.
Use that Raven, as that will definitely help him out quite a lot.
Again,
But,
this is
I mean,
going to
you
hit
can even just
very
look at the
hard.
creep now, it's actually almost all the way back to Reynor's side of the map.
And you have Reynor, he hasn't done enough with this.
He will be back there very soon here.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe there's no lair, there's no Bailey Nest, there's no further tech. It's going to be Ling Queen, plus one Carapace is not going to be done in time.
Production tab is Reynor knows that at this point it's just been.
Is Reynor just dead? Like, is it just... Does the game just end here?
Of a counterattack, so Reynor has to make sure he doesn't.
Oh, where the
overcharge to be
Hellbats?
able to,
Oh, he gets caught out. Never mind. Oh, never mind.
Cure if he
Jesus.
realizes the army is small enough.
Okay, if he surrounded the army, I mean, that could have been game. Where are the Hellbats? We need them. Like, Hellbats will be ideal here for Cure. How many is he going to have?
Reynor's getting his lair right now. I'm not sure if he saw the Hellions or not. Okay,
Here they come.
He should know they're coming now. And right now he just needs units. He just needs as many units as possible.
He's going to have 4, soon to be 6 Hellbats.
That's all you need against
So
this.
6 Hellbats with auto turrets, with all these Marines against pure 0-0 Ling Queen.
Combat shield, not even really that close to finish. So his
Depending on the positioning, Reynor's surround may not be enough here. Oh, he gets a Hellion. That's big. That's huge. 1 Hellion goes down. That's 1 less Hellbat.
And that's going to do excellently versus massive Ling only.
But again, there are no Banelings. Remember, as we mentioned, there's no Banelings, there's no Roach Warren. I think that's just game. I don't think Reynor can touch this army.
Reynor seems like he maybe went a little bit too far with this and didn't quite get the necessary defenses.
Gets a Hellbat. Okay.
So this is going to knock him back quite a bit, and even all those Overlords getting killed.
Cure, just keep going. Keep going, Cure.
Blocked while Lings try to make their way into the natural. To
Cure, you can keep pushing. Keep sending it.
So many Hellbats, so many Marines. He will clean up
Get
the
him,
run by
Bappy.
Finally, but once these Lings running into the Hellbats,
Banelings, it's going to be close.
So many Banelings morph.
Will they finish?
Cure going to hit before they're actually ready. If these Banelings morph and get some
they won't finish. GG.
But they won't. But they won't
finish.
Wow, what a sick time by Cure. I'm actually amazed he won that game.
Yeah, no, it definitely seemed like his army just spiked up out of nowhere. Like he just suddenly had so many units. Where for a moment there, Reynor really just...
So as a reminder, the all-in was telegraphed ahead of time. If you remember, like I was almost tentative about calling it an all-in when we saw the 2 racks. Remember, it is standard to go into a 3rd TC after your 1-1-1 setup. Instead, we saw after the star report, we saw 2 more racks. So it was a 2-base, 3 racks all-in or 3-1-1 out of Cure. Once we saw that, we knew how committed he was. It looks like Reynor didn't really see the main base. He didn't see... I say that, I'm trying to make excuses. Reynor, when he got into the Cyclone, when he surrounded the Cyclone, he saw the setup there. I believe he saw most of the main base production. So it was very greedy of Reynor not to get either a Roach Horn or a Baneliness in time to defend against the 2-base all-in. Of course, you could argue that maybe in the aftermath of that's like because Reynor didn't have an overlord going in, he didn't confirm, so he was playing a little bit blind. But again, Cure, he was able to move out. Of course, once we saw the armory, it was big here to move out with those Hellbats. It was a nice moment when Reynor surrounded the first Hellion, but he only got 1 Hellion. The other 5 Hellions got across the map, morphed into Hellbats. That was GG. That was GG then and there. And with that, we have a series.
They do so much damage to the Hellbats, they can clear those out. And then your Ling Queen can take on the Marines, but without the Banelings, honestly, the Hellbats just shred Marines, shred Ling, so quickly that Cure is just able to take an amazing fight there. Really kind of good comeback in that game for him. He stayed cool. He didn't panic. Like you said, he didn't get his build thrown off too much. He knew what he was doing. He got the Raven. He cleared out the creep. It's so insane. He started mining his natural at 7 minutes. And he still won the game against the 3-base Zerg. That's pretty insane. But very well done by Cure. He does level it up here.
Was it all in?
The choice from Reynor, though, is Evil Heart. You do something crazy. It doesn't work. Okay, you're still up a game, right?
Okay. Okay, we can calm down. We have a series, we have a back and forth. Welcome to Tokamak. Tokamak is known for being the most defensive map in the map pool, the most defensive map, the most macro map. So coming into this, I do favor... who do we favor here? I favor Cure when it comes to being able to get into a more standard setup, into a more secure 4-base setup as well. but it depends how we play this out. Now, we haven't seen mech yet out of Cure, and if you remember, we have been seeing a lot of mech from Cure, from Maru, from Clem, from Beyond, from all the Terrans. All the Terrans have all been embracing mech in some way, shape, or form. And I expected some mech out of Cure, depending on the maps. As we load into Tokamak, as we load into Maganatha, as we load into Pylon. Pylon's not a part of this map pool, but of those maps, I do expect to see mech here. But we'll keep an eye on Cure. We'll see if he goes into Bio again, if he goes into standard play. 8-Rax is going to be worse on this map. Like, it is easier to deal with something like an 8-Rax. So it's either going to be more standard Bio play into a longer game stage from Cure, or he's going to throw down extra factories. We'll see. We shall see.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean,
likewise, I would say this is a really good map for Reynor if he does play against Bio to get into fast ultras again. Like, if he wants to go into fast ultras, I feel like this is one of those maps where you can get away with it on.
For Cure here in the bottom left. Reynor just going for the standard hatch gas pool. And yeah, we're going to see a completely different game to last game, basically. Nothing crazy going to be happening here. We'll have to see what strategy both players want to go for. The Overlord floats in, does confirm there's a CC. No early Marines or anything like that in game number 1. The Reaper going to come across here. The drone, he's got to be careful not to lose that. Does hide it by the minerals. That's always nice if you don't get your third delayed. And yeah, Cure just going to try and pick off a Ling here or two. Nice micro by Reynor there. Pulling back the weakened Zerglings. Just buying time until his queen comes out.
Yeah, the classic dance of the TVZ early.
Here we're settling in. We're still waiting to see if Cure goes for a third TC, if he goes for a starport. We have confirmation, third TC before starport. Economic opener so far to Cure. This can still lead into mech or bio. This is a very versatile way of opening up. Reaver gets away.
50 murals, and he doesn't get the early creep tumor as well. It's always nice as a Zerg player if you get that creep tumor down.
Oh, gracias, Lone Wolf, gracias. So appreciated.
But like you said,
so far, this is starport.
Third CC here. He's going to be going for a very macro-oriented build. Going into the Hellions here. Adding on his starport. We'll have to do his unit of choice here.
I saw the outline of the Rax, but that was the Rax floating over. Right now. So we still have to confirm.
50 mineral unit, can he get he's really trying to get that one little Zergling that's on low HP.
Tech Lab's on the way.
Not gonna quite happen this time. Just gonna bounce into the main base.
I would imagine that's for the add-on swap.
To be seen, as it is just gonna be those Hellions coming out and likely.
Ooh, Roach is at a Reynor. Okay.
Stuff following as well would be fun.
He's been avoiding Roach play this entire series so far until now.
The Banshees, nice. I know my matchups.
You know this TVZ matchup.
Oh, I'm doing it.
Yeah, Reynor here going to be going for the Roaches on the other hand. Going to try and defend with those. Maybe get like 4 or 5 out. Use them to push away the Hellions.
So Roaches are just a really safe way to open up, especially if Reynor is anticipating mech. Like, opening a Roach like this is going to be ideal.
He's going to be able to keep harassing here.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, I actually just realized, is like a pair of Zerglings 50?
Yeah.
Oh my god, so it's a 25.
25. Yeah, dude, when you said it, I was like, wait, they cost 25.
Okay, Tech Lab's on the way on the Rax. So he's getting his Tech Lab.
I didn't want to call you out.
He's setting up.
Feel free to call me out.
We have early Roaches, but this is just to be safe. So Reynor is playing very, very safe. Here we can see the Tech Lab at no second factory, so it looks like we're playing Bio.
Make sure he's diving into that tech and completely to make it so that way, if Reynor is unprepared without a Spore Crawler or something, we'll find some nice, good damage. But generally, the Zergs I feel like are quite good.
Oh, never mind. Let's go.
Things, so it should be totally cool.
It is going to be mech. So this is why we brought it up at the start of this game. If you remember, we're leading towards Tokamak, Maganatha for mech. So this is mech on Tokamak, which makes perfect sense.
Because obviously that new patch is finally getting rid of those bug cyclones, so that's going to be cool. But we still got some more in the cards for us here today.
Yeah, cash in while you can, Terran players. Your reign will come to an end soon once that patch hits. But right now, it's still legit.
Get all your MMR when you can.
Get it while you can, guys. Abuse the Cyclone. This Overlord going to float in, though. Will you actually see the factories here? He would love to spot this if he can. Okay, very nice scout here. Did he see the barracks at the front? Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's so cheeky.
Wow, so he sees a barracks going up.
He saw a Rax being built.
That's so cute. I love that.
That's crazy. That's crazy, Papi. Oh my god. Este Cure.
That actually might trick him. that completely could throw him
He's
off.
got
There's
some
nothing
moves, Pappy. He's
weird
got some
about
moves.
what he
Now,
just
a couple of
did
things.
there.
First things first, I was going to mention, winding it back here, if you remember, is that Reynor, because you open up roaches, like, it's still okay because he has access to roach production already. If he was stuck on Ling Bane or going into Ling Hydra, he'd be in a lot of trouble, but roaches are a nice, secure way to play against mech. And again, Reynor, he also knows that mech is more viable here, so I'm sure that's why, one of the reasons why he did decide to open up roaches. But as you can see, +1 carapace. +1 carapace does not help against mech. This is an anti-bio setup, so again, because Reynor saw extra Raxes, he's convinced that it's bio, which is why we see carapace, which is why we're taking up into the infestation pit, and this is going to catch Reynor off guard.
23 Hive. That's about as early as you can get it without sacrificing your economy. Insane.
Yeah, rushing into a fast Hive. Greed.
He's just gonna go straight into ultras again.
He doesn't even have Ling speed. Oh my god.
He might do. Like,
He's getting back into Ling speed with Banelings. Again, he's getting ready for bio.
Just to help get him there against the bio ball, but this time he's gone even quicker Hive. Skipping the Infestor, but adding in the Banelin
The
nest
greed is crazy.
after the Hive. So he will have Banelins on the field. He's going to have Roachling Bane.
Now the question is, this is a lot of greed. Cure, is he going to punish? Because do you see what I see? I see tank production. I don't see Cyclones. Right? Like, we're getting into a tank-heavy style. Cure, he's going into a more traditional form of mech. He's not going into battle mech, which means he's not going to be active, which means Reynor will get away with this. Like, Reynor, he's not going to be punished anytime soon.
It's also a very heavy tank mech so far. It looks
Yeah,
like
they're now
from
putting it
Cure.
out.
He's got
Like,
a
again,
lot
like,
of
this is
tanks
not
so
battle
far.
mech. This is not battle mech.
Already at his third base.
This is a style that we would see even if the cycle was fixed. It's a more traditional mech instead.
On the field, he's got plenty more production coming through, so he's gonna have tons of factories. But now this changeling will make it in and will finally confirm that it will be a meching play from Cure. If Reynor didn't already know, he definitely will now. And we also have speed finishing for Zerglings at 745 or so, which is one of the latest speed finishings I've ever seen. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, he did skip that Ling speed, you know, went for the roaches. For the
So Reynor, he's still getting ready for bio play, so this is still like a little bit awkward, a little bit rough for him, because he's taking up in such a way that doesn't really help too much against what he's up against. But again, Cure, he's turtling, so Reynor, he'll have time to respond.
Blinding Cloud, all that good stuff. A couple Vikings coming out here. That's quite interesting. Gonna be able to zone out the Vipers in the fights as well. And Blue Flame finishing up here too.
Yeah, I'm curious how these fights are going to work, because again, normally we see these mech plays being really made around the core of the Hellion Cyclone, the battle mech style, and then later into the tanks and stuff. But without any Cyclones yet, we do still have that mag field upgrade coming.
Here the Vipers are already gathering energy. Spire's been thrown down. Now Blue Flame is revealed. I mean, now Reynor's fully aware as to what's happening.
For now. So I'm just curious how some of these engagements will start to work out here. Because obviously these armies are going to get really big really quickly.
And again, if Cure had gone into battle mech, I think he could have punished Reynor. And I think he could have maybe even broken him, to be honest. If he was pushing like 2 minutes before this with Hellion Cyclone instead.
Really just making sure he has any tech possible. Adrenal's going to be finishing up pretty soon, as that's going to be a key late game
Reynor, he's maxed.
As well.
Tanks are on siege.
And Reynor looking like he wants to try and send it across for his first attempt at cracking this mech army.
Here come the Lightning Clouds. He's going for it. He's going for it. That's around.
Oh my god.
Lightning
Clouds go down on all those siege tanks.
Oh my
Reynor
god.
hitting a sick timing here. As
Can he break through?
Going to pick off quite a bit, but
Gets
actually
a good
this
half.
was completely debuffed by Cure. Going to send just kill all of those Banelins, and that kind of flopped.
No.
That was surprising. It felt like a lot of the Banelings...
Like, that was good for Reynor. Remember, Cure has the more efficient army. Like, if this army got across the map siege, that would have been game. Reynor, he just cut the army in half, and now Reynor can remax. Right, now he can remax, and now he's only dealing with half the army at a time. This army is half the size that it should have been.
Like we're even transfusing some Vipers to keep those alive as they're getting...
And the Vipers survived.
...off of the extractor to get more blinding clouds thrown out, as the siege tanks now will start to get spread out more. It's going to be much more difficult.
Here we go, Reynor. Can we do it again? Can we do it again? It's so tank heavy. Like, he killed like a good half of the tanks. There's still so many tanks left over.
These units are going to be very hard hitting.
And this is also the downside of Reynor scouting this late as well.
Is Reynor actually in position to be able to deal with this? We don't really have many flanking.
How many blinding clouds? The tanks are spread nicely. They're spread well. Good spread.
This maxed out
look at that.
army is so hard to fight with Ling Bane.
He doesn't touch. He doesn't dent the army. That was what 3 tanks going down.
Oh, the drones! Oh,
my God.
9 going down. The rest will get out, but this is...
And again, this is the reason why this is hitting so hard. Remember, this was not battle mech to begin with. Cure started building tanks from the very beginning. I would have loved to have seen the tank count before the move out, before the push. But Jesus, so many tanks.
Cure's army is absolutely massive right now.
And then he breaks through.
Yeah, it looks like Cure's army is only getting larger while Reynor continues just to bleed out every single second here. Losing things left and right. He's got bases just completely mining absolutely everywhere on the map. His economy
and we go into the ace match.
Untouched.
Let's go.
As Cure continues his way through the natural and the 4th base positions for Reynor. I mean, this is just looking absolutely hopeless for him at this point. He's down so much army supply. Trying to run into a massive tank line with Roach Ravager is never going to go well. A single G thrown out as well as the just gargantuan mech army. Just steamrolling as we bring out any word we can think of from the thesaurus.
GG, well played. So this style of mech that Cure just showed off is something that is something that we've seen from Cure before plenty of times, but whenever we see it, it's usually on Pylon. Now, the reason why we see it on Pylon instead of Tokamak is because of the rush distance by ground, right? Cure, what he does on Pylon is that in TVZ, he maxes out just the way we saw. He does it against Protoss as well, with a very tank-heavy composition, and the rush distance by ground, like it takes so little time to move from your 3rd base, your forward 3rd, to the opponent's 3rd base across the map. So you just walk across, bam, you're already in the face of your opponent, and you're already sieging down the bases, and you just snowball out of control. So we don't get to see it a lot on Tokamak because of what we saw at Reynor. Reynor, he was able to have 2 fights. He was able to engage ahead of time on Cure's side of the map and then on Reynor's side of the map, this was like best case scenario for Reynor. He got 2 fights instead of 1. So he was able to actually rebuild and remax. The problem though that we saw is, again, it was so tank heavy. The first engagement didn't kill as many tanks as Reynor needed. On top of that, Reynor, he wasn't set up to deal with mech because he thought it was bio for a long time as well. There was also a lot of mind games that came into play there. So GG, well played. Up next, Game 5, Maganatha. If you remember, something that we spoke about coming into the series and coming into the last game was that if there were any maps that we were going to be seeing mech on, it would have been Tokamak, Maganatha, and Pylon. We just saw Tokamak, we saw mech. Maganatha is another good mech map as well, and we might see mech again. We might see battle mech instead of this tank heavy style instead, especially because Maganatha is a more open map in the center. There's more ways to engage, there's more ways to surround, so I'm leaning more towards battle mech here, but we'll see. When I say battle mech, like the Banshee heavy style, where you go like into hyperflight rotors, into like 6-7 Banshees with your battle mech as well, so I'm leaning a little bit more towards that here for Cure, but we'll see. He has options.
Throws down some more factories. Goes into that heavy tank mech that you talked about. We don't really see that too much these days. It's, you know, a lot more battle mech with the Cyclones.
Now we see a lot of tank mech.
Yeah, really good mind game by Cure, paying off in that game just now. The map is going to be Maganatha. Cure spawning here as the blue Terran in the top left. Reynor as the red Zerg in the bottom right. And this is it. Everything on the line here. Game number 5.
Let's go. 2x Reaper
goes home.
Absolutely.
Well, they're already home.
Loser goes back into their home.
With this opener out of Cure, already mech is diminished. But there's less of a chance that we're going to see mech. But I will say that at the highest level of play, we have seen players go 2x Reaper and transition from 2x Reaper into mech. Like that has happened at the highest level of play, which is crazy. But it is possible. It's less likely, I should emphasize that, it's less likely to turn this into mech, but it is still like in the back of my mind at least.
He has no gas here, so it actually looks like it's going to be something similar.
Right, okay.
So as they're pointing out, no gas. So just like we saw previously, it's not 2x Reaper, it's 2x Marine into that bunker rush at the 3rd base.
So well, I feel like. We'll have to see if he wants to go for it, but it is going to be Marines here to start. No gas, obviously, can't make.
Which means this most likely does lead into a stim timing, most likely.
Tech into, you know, stim probably. And it's up to Reynor to figure out what's going on here. His Overlord, last time he lost it, and that was huge because he didn't see the Marines moving out.
Okay.
If he can keep the Overlord alive here, that'll be huge. And if he can see the SDV and the Marines coming over, it is floating towards the natural right now. Yeah, that depot looks so close to where the CC goes.
Oh, no, it doesn't block, yeah.
Yeah, it always throws me off when it's like in the circle, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't block it, but it looks funny.
It does look funny. I guess as Terran, it doesn't matter because you can just lower it and it's not going to block anything. But it does look very funny just to put it right in the middle of the mineral line there. But yeah, the Overlord's going to come over here, does see the double Marine, and it might actually die. Is there a high ground?
Can we
position
hunt
right
it
here?
down?
That's pretty far away.
Yep,
Yeah, that's
it's gonna be hunted
definitely
down.
gonna die.
This is
Nice
gonna
pick off.
die again, so similar to game number 1 here.
That's going to leave him supply blocked. He wasn't making an Overlord that entire time either. It really just started right as it's about to get killed off, so that will be
So really nice off of Cure. Cure, he expands behind this. We'll see if he tries to set up a bunker. This time, Reynor's going to be more cognizant of that. This time, he's going to be looking out for it.
And then, yeah, Cure's just going to go right into the CC.
Here
and
comes
then
the SCV.
Send the Marines right across as well to try and deny a third base. I believe there's an SCV also coming yet again to make a bunker, unless I missaw. Mapu's not actually.
Yep, there's an
looking at
SCV.
everything exactly at the same time. I can't tell.
He's the third base. He's going for it.
Should be kind of similar to that other game. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, okay, Reynor does see it this time. So this time he knows it's coming, so he'll be able
Sees the bunker.
to kind of respond in a way however he wants. Last time he didn't know until the hatchery was under fire from the Marines, which was when the bunker was done.
I think the bunker
So
was
he
still
sees it nice
complete,
and early.
right?
He
There
has
just
the
aren't enough
choice to
lings.
make a lot of lings here and kill it before the hatch goes down.
Like, that's a
Or he can
canceled
just
base.
cancel the hatchery and take it at the other base. That was his response in the first game.
And behind this,
He just
Cure
had to
goes
cancel
straight
this
into a
here. You're
third
never
CC,
gonna get
which
enough to
we,
save this,
I believe, didn't see last time. So
She was
very
speeding
fast
up
third
front.
CC here by Cure.
So yeah, apparently Cure thinks this is a build that you can pull out more than once in a best of 5.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like
he's
it's done
correct.
something both times as well. Being able to get this cancel on the third base here as well is pretty good. And then he just kind of macros up behind it, maybe just assuming, maybe he just thought
Now
that the
remember,
first
last
game
time, what
some
was the
other
build?
things
It was
were
2
going
racks to
on,
deny the
maybe
base,
the
and then this
idea of the
led
build
into a
wasn't
4 rack
necessarily
stim
at fault,
timing,
in his
into a
mind.
2 base all in. This time it leads into a fast third CC, so this time it's a more macro variation. And we're faking upgrades. Do you see that? Concussive Shell began, cancelled, cancels Combat Shield, starts a Concussive Shell. Are we going? Yes, we're going into the mech! Let's go! We're going into mech!
Yeah, this is super interesting. He actually got a really fast
Yeah.
third CC
As
as,
we-
well, which he didn't
Do you
in the-
remember what we
in the
said at the
last
start
game.
of this game?
So Reynor might expect it to be another stimper.
That validation. Remember, we said that, hey, sometimes when you go 2 racks like this, it does actually lead into mech. We've seen it before. It does happen at the highest level, and we're seeing it here again. So it is 2 racks into mech. It can be very hard to scout this, and I would not blame Reynor for not confirming this yet.
We're going to have to see what he wants to do with his concussive shells. The only thing I can think of
It's
is
just a
that he
fake out.
doesn't want to die to roaches.
Oh, he's faking it.
Yeah, it's just a fake out.
Oh,
Because he's going mech. He's
Oh,
making it look
dude.
like he's so he just canceled it.
They got there. They got there.
So yeah, of course.
Dude, Cure is a mind game act. I love this.
we
Like,
see everything in his mind gaming us.
yeah, this is wild. Oh my god. Yeah, the second factory comes down, and then it makes so much sense. Oh my god, I love this. I absolutely love it.
Dude, if that's me, I 100% just got baited.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
making Ling Bane.
If I remember, it was I think Maru did this at EWC, right? I'm trying to remember when we saw 2 racks into mech.
I mean, 'cause it is a long
But it was,
upgrade.
I believe
You
it
have
was
to kinda
Maru,
cancel it
maybe
till,
Clem as well.
it is
I think it was just Maru
So
though.
you have to kind of cancel and restart it a couple times, and make it work around your build order and whatnot. So
Yeah, I think it was Maru versus Reynor. Yeah, at EWC. So Reynor, he's played against this before. True, true.
I love that he's not even half-assing the mind game either. He's like really trying to make sure that Reynor just completely reads into this. And again, just like that last game, this might really hurt Reynor if he just doesn't notice until it's too late.
Yeah, now it is cancelled again. Reynor might think Stim is like almost done here. We're coming up to 6 minutes. You could be reading this wrong if you're Reynor here. That's it's very difficult spot.
Hellions.
Okay, when you see the Hellions, you're gonna know something's up though. Blue Flame is on the way. 2 seconds left.
smart.
Oh, he doesn't
Hellions.
reveal.
Clears out that Ling with 3 Marines.
He doesn't reveal the Hellions.
Here in this series, and Reynor's going for the Baneling nest again.
Reynor, he's once again going +1 Carapace into Banelings. As a reminder, +1 Carapace doesn't really help against mech. This was the other downside of last game, is that Reynor was getting ready for Bio when it wasn't Bio. Same here, these upgrades are like, oh no, he scouts! He sees! Big moment.
Be able to see the Hellions and the Cyclones. That's
He knows.
a massive scout. That is just I can't even understate.
Instantly
how
Roach
large
Warren.
of a scout that
Instantly
is.
Roach Warren gets thrown
At this
down.
point,
We need Roaches, Pappy. We need him. We
obviously
need
going to
Ravagers.
to adjust what he's doing here, as he will now realize that it is going to be battle mech, and we'll see how much damage this is able to get done for now, because for now it's just going to be a bunch of Zerglings on the defense.
At least
Can
Reynor knows
actually
this time.
Keep Cure away for long enough to get more stuff out.
Yeah, Reynor instantly threw down the Roach Warren as soon as he saw those units, so that means he didn't know it was mech up until now. We see an Infestation Pit going down. He could go for the Swarmos here. Roach Swarmos can be pretty good against mech for a while. Okay, this Watchtower, the Ling that's at the Watchtower will spot the army moving out. And now he's got to try and take some good trades. He could just go for Infestors. We see that a lot, like Roach Ravager, Ling, Bane, Infestor. Try to catch the mech army when it's on creep, pick off a few units before they can kite you. That kind of thing. Baneling speed coming down here. And this army is clearing out a lot of creep for Cure.
Yeah, we got some Lings on the map as well to try and do a little backstabbing, trying to pick off a few units on the reinforcement here and there. Doesn't want to go in for the full engagement just yet.
Now, thankfully, Reynor, again, because he knows ahead of time, if a stage bit is done, we have Infestors on the way as well.
Want to make sure that
Reynor, he's getting ready.
Really committed with the army first, because this blue flame is just absolutely brutal against Ling-only armies. And it looks like it will just be that Infestor coming out as well. A couple more going to be joining soon as some Roaches start to go onto the production tab as well for Reynor, as he kind of scrambles to try and make sure he can get the correct unit count, unit composition, I should say, against what is going to be...
Reynor, his economy is so low right now.
Yeah, I think with these
like he just doesn't have the income to at least sustain this, and the Curie is going towards the bases.
He's got to hit a fungal though. This Terran army is actually very scary.
Can he catch up the army?
Baneling speed is just finishing now, as is Roach speed, so this could be Reynor's chance to go before this hatch goes down. He's looking for the fungal. That Infestor is sharking there.
We're getting ready for a surround.
Here
comes the fungal.
Okay, Infestor's just outranged, but the surround is huge.
Oh my god, massive fungal.
And there's the fungal. Reynor picking off a ton of these units, getting a bunch of Cyclones here. They're very expensive. Huge pickups for Reynor.
That was an insane fight. That flank with the Zerglings was so perfectly timed. Kira had no idea that that was coming, and it got the perfect surround to get that massive fungal off on the center of all of them. A great trade coming out for Reynor so far. A lot of Queens, unfortunately, going to die off towards the back end of this fight, but that's going to swing the momentum nicely for Reynor. He even feels confident running after this off creep as well.
So this fight was better for Reynor. My big concern here is the low economy. Like that's still my biggest concern, is just the low drone, the low income here, the drone count for Reynor. Being able to sustain these trades against the army. At least he does maintain, he does retain the Infestors after the fight.
Just a great momentum swing for Reynor.
Gets caught on creep.
Reynor even going to try and catch some more units on creep. He does have fungals available, but decides he's adding 4 more Infestors and Neural Parasite here, Gemini. He's going to start neuraling these Cyclones, getting them to take out their bodies, and then killing them off afterwards. I think Reynor can be pretty happy with his position here.
Yeah, we have seen Reynor use Neurals on Cyclones before. What's really cool about Neural on a Cyclone isn't just that you take the Cyclone for yourself, but it's that it breaks the lock-on. Like it is a way to break the lock-on on the Cyclone.
Hellions do dive the middle
on your unit.
They get 6 drones. It's nice, but it's not the end of the world at this point in the game.
10 at the end. That's actually pretty good. A couple more, they got bunched back up as they tried to go back to the minerals. And yeah, that's actually kind of impactful, I'm not going to lie. 10 is pretty good. 6 was like, all right. But yeah, 10 is actually pretty good at this point, considering the fact that Reynor really did have to cut his drones quite a bit to like get the emergency units out to be able to defend earlier as well. So it's not like he's floating around on 85, 90 drones this whole game. He's completely even with Cure at this point. So the economy for now is looking pretty okay, but honestly, the path to...
I'll say the economy is better for Cure. Like right now, it is straight up just better for Cure.
Too many drones going into this, and if we've ever seen any, if we know anything from some battle mech games that we've casted in the past,
and Reynor is just now getting to his hive.
It's that it can be very, very difficult to actually kill a battle meching player. It really can just kind of keep going on and on and on, despite the fact that you might get a lot of good engages. The units continue to be really, really good and just scale completely well throughout the rest of the game too. So Cure definitely still has some room to find his way back into this if he can get some continue to get some good damage.
Yeah, Reynor's up to about 10 Infestors though now, so he might just have like infinite Neurals here. Going to be able to pick off those Cyclones if they do poke in, trying to reduce that damage we were talking about.
At this point, as we do land another fungal.
Onto him. Still 6 workers going down though. He will be able to clean these
at this point, I would say that Cure, he's taking too long to switch into tanks. Once the Infestor count gets too high, like as I mentioned, Reynor, he has 10 Infestors. Like it's a very high Infestor count. Because that Battle Mech is less effective. Battle Mech cannot move in, so we do need a tech switch, and I would say that this tech switch that Cure is going for is late. What is the tech switch? Mass BC. He's throwing down more Starports, he's throwing down Future Core. This should be for Mass BC. This was needed earlier though. This was needed earlier, and if you recall, Maru did play this style as well.
BCs on the cup. Maru did that yesterday, right?
Yeah.
He went into BCs.
Would be great to see. That would be very, very fun.
Again, like BCs make sense. It's just late. It's just late here for Cure.
Yeah, I guess if he will bring out a couple of those BCs. But the Neural will be great against that as well. So that's
like this army is so vulnerable to the Infestors.
will be able to have some way to lock those down if necessary. Potentially getting some fungals here, but Cure realizing that
has to get the hell out of here.
Waiting there. It's crazy how much one Hellion shot does to a group of Lings. You see that? That's
yeah,
wild.
it's pretty wild, not gonna lie. Reynor, though, is getting his adrenal glands. He's got his +3 ranged on the way, his +2 melee, and he's got Aspire in time, which is key, right? As soon as you know it's battle cruisers, you want to add in those corruptors. He's actually going to go for a great Aspire here. Interesting. I'm not sure if he thinks Broodlords are going to be something available to him soon, but against BCs, I don't feel like you can make those. I feel like you need the corruptors.
So it's important to note that Reynor is getting rid of Broodlord tech. Reynor does not know that BCs are on the way. For all Reynor knows, it could be tanks, right? This could be a tank-based composition. So it's important not to like put that against Reynor. The fact that he is getting into a greater Aspire instead of upgrades, he just doesn't know, right?
Doesn't really want to engage just before that, as they will be finishing up really nicely here. And I think this forward 5th position is really good as a meching Terran. This is why I kind of mentioned this map is pretty good for it as well, because if you can just
like, it is more standard to go for that big like tank transition instead of the BC transition.
You then just have some really small choke points going up different ramps that are pretty difficult to attack up into if you're going against a meching player. And so Cure getting these positions set up will be...
Yeah, what Gemini is getting into is just the map itself. This is why we expected mech on Maganatha, is because it is more difficult to push into the defending player.
Trying to kill any exterior bases.
Oh, going for a flank.
Fangu
does connect.
Over to the right-hand side, and some Neuros getting thrown off to try and steal some of these to get as much of an engagement going.
Trades out the Cyclones.
But now this opens up
Fangu connects on the left.
Which also gets dealt with very easily with a plenty large army over there as well. So this is actually pretty decent defense overall for Reynor, but still losing some drones on the back end.
And dude,
Reynor's just remaxed on Lings here. He still doesn't know about these BCs. This is going to be a real problem if Cure can get up to like 5-6 BCs and just teleport them into the base of Reynor. Like,
yeah, like Cure, if he can get up to critical master BC, that like we saw Mario fight. We saw him dominate with mass BC. It happens.
Maybe. Okay, now he knows that there are BCs on the field for sure. If he didn't before, you're just going to send it. He says, "All right, you going BCs? Time for me to attack." No, actually decides to fall back here. Doesn't want to after he sees the Sim City of Cure at that base. This hatchery will fall though.
Yep, this is not exactly what Reynor wanted on
now, once again, Reynor, he's looking for the neural. If Cure can... Oh, nice snipe on the base. If Cure can keep an eye on where the infestors are, he should not get neural. He should be able to stay away.
As of right now, you're right, there is nothing. He's going to have to lose some units to be able to make some corruptors, and he's got a great bank to do so. So once he does take an engagement and a fight does happen, he's going to lose plenty of units, and then boom, he can just go right into a huge cloud of corruptors if needed. But of course, for now, we're going to have to just be banking on these infestors and then the Ravagers. We can get a nice fungal corrosive bile combo.
Does land the scan he sees.
That would be excellent against the BCs.
Yeah, going to get a fungal, take out one Cyclone. That's a nice little pickoff. He's still making Banelins here. His bank is actually massive. By
Two more starports on the way. Again, getting ready for that remax on BC.
Make as many corruptors as he wants to when he loses his army, as you said. He's adding in the Air Flyers upgrade. Going to be going +3 melee and +2 armor as well. And I actually thought Reynor would be aggressive there. I thought he'd want to like throw his army away and you know make some corruptors behind it, but he's just being patient.
Here come the Fungals. Oh, sorry, Neural even.
He does Neural that one Cyclone and the tanks take it out. That's funny.
All right, I guess we're going to bring that over here.
Couple of extra Neurals, not bad. Going for the Raven. Nice snipe.
It's ridiculous.
Gets the Raven. Ooh, catches the BC.
Like a large majority of the army will be able to neural one and get the Biles. That's pretty cool. You don't see that every day. Love to see it. But 3 more. Just got to go right.
Again, that was on Cure, but it looks like he's going for a base. He's going to get it.
Oh, it's close. And try and burst it before the army can react and will be able to do so. That is a dead hatchery before even the slightest reaction.
And if you remember, Reynor, he already had a subpar economy. He's losing more bases. He's on 4 expansions. He's double expanding.
Very kind of interesting approach.
Reynor does have a bank, but he doesn't have a way to replenish that bank. Not right now, at least.
I think at some point you probably need corruptors. He is still upgrading his air units. The armor is super nice against the battle cruisers, of course. Trying to retake this base again. I'm not sure if he can ever keep that base against battle cruisers, honestly. Yeah. They can even like Yamato it from the forward Terran base there.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to actually take that.
The infestors! He gets him!
No!
Oh my god.
Not realizing. He's even going to use the teleport in place just to make sure that he can't.
A little bit.
Oh, I thought he mistimed it. That would have looked really funny. But yeah, he's making sure that they can't just teleport on out there once the cooldown gets thrown out. It would be great if he could kill them. will be able to
Should still kill the
he should've
BCs.
narrowed the other one, but again, it's, I guess he's in the heat of the moment, as of course there's a massive army on the top right-hand side as well, trying to threaten that base.
Oh, then your one's out. No, the BCs are popping off.
Easy cleanup of all these BCs. Unfortunately, is becoming more of a burden.
Yeah, Reynor smurging.
Side base is getting killed.
He's losing too many bases.
Attacks the frontal position. There's BCs everywhere. Reynor's really kind of going everywhere.
Everything's flashing red.
All this stuff off. He's not able to get a solid hold on any of this. He's got 35 drones at his fourth base.
Yeah, going to be, oh my god, yoinking so many Cyclones there, huge pickoffs. I think he needed like 1 or 2 more Ravagers to bio down those BCs to actually kill them in one volley. But he does clean up eventually. Another Neural going down on this BC. Gonna start killing the Raven. This is some friendly
Yo,
fire
those abductions on the Cyclones. That's too much, Pappy.
There's so many Neurals going
down. The council better remove it.
The Biles as well, but not going to be able to take them out this time.
That's the first thing I thought of
fall in here.
when I saw the yoinks on the Cyclones.
You need so many Biles to kill a BC. That's crazy.
It's broken.
It's actually insane. Even
Gets
that
2
wasn't enough to
BCs.
kill that one. I feel like a few Corruptors would help so much, but Reynor knows best. Adding in 6 more Infestors again. Gonna stick to this Infestor Bile style. Really cool, honestly.
Yeah, this looks absolutely hilarious. Don't kill those drones. Oh my gosh, that would have been so funny. Oh my god, the base dies on the right-hand side again. Oh no, we're busy trying to kill these BCs
another Reynor, he's down to 2 bases. He's down to 2 expansions. 2 hatcheries left, Pappy. Oh my god.
Down, and you need your whole army there to do it. He's making 11 Infestors at a time. When have you ever seen that since 2012? Jesus Christ, that's insane. But I mean, that's really what Reynor's banking on at this point. He's trying to make this Infestor style work.
Right now, Reynor, he's very low eco. As you can see, like, he has no income. He's long distance mining. He has to be as efficient as possible. He's heavily reliant on fungals and neurals, on basically spells. Like, he's being as efficient as possible with spells. Just because he can't afford anything else right now.
Take good fights. He's gonna have to trade so amazingly efficiently.
Here you go. Here comes the last neural.
Fungals going down as well as the neurals on these Cyclones. I think he will clear this up again. He's got to preserve these Infestors though. Energy is kind of the only resource that he has a lot of in this game.
Hey, he's holding on.
The microbial shroud going down there
as
well.
That's not buffed yet.
He's holding.
It's not 50% reduction yet, dude. Although it is against air units.
Yeah. The BCs were not too many in number at that point, but it doesn't really matter. Just trying to do everything that he can to get as big of an income, or sorry, a bit of a
we're making more Infestors.
And honestly, it did go pretty well, all things
6
considered.
more.
That was a pretty commanding fight from Reynor, and his army supply is very large going after that. But the problem remains is that his economy has been in complete shambles for the last few minutes, that he can't even really remax anymore. He used all of his resources on that massive amount of Infestors.
Yeah, now they're touching on the problem that's been like amassing, and that has been a problem for the entire game, is Reynor's economy. Reynor, he's had a very low economy the entire game. I don't think he's ever gotten back up past 70 workers. Am I crazy? But just a really low drone count, really low base count, and bases they just keep going down. And that is the win condition for Cure. The win condition is just keep denying bases. Keep denying bases, starve Reynor out trade him over time. It is difficult to out trade because of how NG based Reynor's army is.
The Italian's going to poke
but he gets into the middle line.
Drones.
He
I
gets
don't
in.
think these Lings can kill it off once they transform. God. Has to send the Roach Ravager over. We'll finally clear this up, but 14 going down. Reynor's down to 35 drones right now. His economy in shambles, Gemini.
Yeah, this is really tough to watch as a Zerg player if you are rooting for Reynor.
Reynor's army comp is like me in team games after a hard day of work.
So brutal. We saw
You're an animal, Chase. You're an animal.
Lurking on the bottom. That is just
but you're not
a
wrong.
ridiculous number of Infestors. You really don't see that nowadays. I feel like that's something of days past, of the good old Brewlord Infestor days, as they are not as common. But regardless, Reynor will try to find something with them, as they are really the only thing going. 2 Hellions alone are going to
gets back into the middle line, more drones going down. Reynor, he doesn't have any drones to begin with, but leave his drones alone. Oh my god.
Going down there. They do get cleaned up.
Nice neurals.
Nice fungals, neurals on these, going to actually be able to buy them all down. Very nicely done.
Again, you can see like hyper efficiency with mass Infestor. Like that's the one chance for Reynor. Just be hyper efficient. Neural the entire army. Neural everything.
Yeah, no, the Infestors are everything at this point. It would be crazy if we can get a sick EMP.
Like, Reynor can still win a fight. The Ghost production!
Just walk right up. If there's no Overseer in position, it's going to be easy.
The anti-Infestor EMPs are coming.
bottom left-hand side will get cleared out for now, but that's really
Kira's getting into the like perfect late game composition, which is Mech Ghost. He's getting there.
Of the map at this point. I feel like also, I don't think Reynor's really had any overseers with his army, so once these cloak ghosts come in, I feel like they're... Oh, no, there is an overseer. Okay, we'll have one. Thank God. So thankfully, they won't just walk up and
show us the
TNT
EMPs.
everything. But there's still the chance here, of course, because...
Do they land?
That Infestor Ball...
This is where Reynor neurals a ghost and then EMPs the other ghost.
And if you lose that Infestor Ball, that's kind of going to be it.
So can Reynor, can he neural the ghost in time?
As he goes,
Can he catch him out? Oh, God.
He's going to get some snipes off on the Ravagers. That hurts a lot. Reynor has no economy here to replace those with easily. A run by going to go by here and see that this base is already mined out.
Nice run by.
It's like a no man's land here. Absolutely nothing over
Kira's
here.
maxed out, so no production. He has to teleport his BCs.
To defend against these Lings. They are going to kill stuff quickly, but they don't shoot up, obviously. So they will get cleaned up. But Kira's the whole map right now. He has the top right base. He has this
nice
base
neurals.
near Reynor's.
Nice, very
third.
nice fungals.
Like,
Oh my God.
Oh, huge amount of neurals going down here.
Yeah.
But this has been the story, right? He gets a good engagement. He neurals everything.
You can see hyper efficient fight for Reynor. He trades very, very well.
Because he's on so many bases.
Yeah, that was a really good fight yet again. I mean, the efficiency...
And he's just going to keep, like, he's going to do that like 4 more times.
Like you said, yeah. He can't really do anything at this point. He's getting just great engagements, and then he just kind of sits here, unfortunately, which is not, his fault. I'm not like saying he's playing badly. It's just like it's just the side effect of the style that he's unfortunately been forced into going, because he can't really go across the map. He's going to try to finally do something now because he realizes he's
shocking around. Can he catch some BCs?
Waiting for Kira to suicide army after army.
Can he catch some ghosts?
Bank that he's had. So
Ghost out of position.
Try to make something happen, but he's killing bases that have already been mined out, and there's not really much to them anymore. As Kira continues to move towards the gold bases, towards the watchtowers as well. This is, yeah, this is. I'm still struggling.
He's like hoping to get like a BC, like some ghosts.
For Reynor in this game.
Yeah, the only way he can win is if he wipes the Terran army and like gets on the production or something like that. Yeah. But it's going to be so hard to waddle over there with those infestors and get up the ramp into the main.
Reynor's out of position.
You're just going to keep pushing, keep trading out.
Reynor's out of position. The ghosts are across the map. Sorry, the infestors I meant to say are across the map.
I think he had like 19
base goes down.
Though, so he does have a ton of them. Near infinite neurals and fungals available. Tons of biles. Reynor's army is
infinite. Okay, calm down, Pappy. Calm down.
These drones will be forced to evacuate. Even more going down here. Reynor down to 24 workers right now.
Oh.
Okay, we'll pick off a couple ghosts, so we'll keep his infestors alive.
Let's catch a couple.
As well as this tank going down. Some nice moves for Reynor, but the numbers are just getting too rough at this point. 5k, 3.5k in the bank for Cure.
Ooh, EP lands.
The fight's going to happen in
Does land one.
Neural not going to go down.
Lands another.
Ooh, huge biles on those tanks, though. Very nice.
It looks like he does catch maybe a half, and yeah, GG. GG gets called.
Always the most anticlimactic timing sometimes. But yeah, no, a nice time for Cure, of course. At that point, it was getting very, very difficult for Reynor to take any more.
GG, well played. Congratulations, Cure does take the series 3-2, the reverse sweep at a Cure. But we spoke about this after the first 2 games. The first 2 games were not really indicative of the series itself. There was just a lot of builds, and like, I don't know if I want to say build or wins or build or losses, but Cure, he was hyper aggressive initially, going for the 2 racks into 2 base all in, into 3 base all in. Then we got into the second game, and likewise we saw Reynor being, so it was game 3 where Reynor was being hyper aggressive himself. But then we saw Cure get into his own swing of things, getting into Tokmak, getting into Maganatha, getting into these more getting into these more mech favored maps where he could embrace the mech and shut Reynor down. GG. GG, well played, Cure. He survived, and he got into his maps. He got into his maps towards the end of the series. And with that, congratulations, Cure. He does claim it. And up next, we do have Zound versus Cure in a best of 7. GG. GG, well played. Again, Classic is waiting in the grand finals. Classic is waiting for the winner of this series, and we'll see who it's going to be. Will it be Zound? Will it be Cure? We're going to be going on a break. And when we come back, we'll have that final series of the broadcast. Oh, we'll have that final series. Again, shout out to Reynor. He did play well. Reynor, he played very well. Multiple times, Reynor got caught with his pants down. Fun fact, both games that we saw mech, Reynor didn't know it was mech for a long time. Like, he was caught out. Some really nice mind games out of Cure to hide his builds, to preserve his builds, and to keep Reynor guessing and catch him. Again, the pants, they were down. They were all the way down. GG. But we'll see you guys after the break. We'll see you guys after the break here for Cure vs. Zound. See you soon, Pappy. See you soon.